Well, holiday over. I clear. Welcome. It is another day of the week, and this is the best and your favorite morning show on TV. It is the AM show. I am MFA Akosia Adetin. As usual, today we've got one of the best installments of the show for you. As well, we will start with the AM news, and of course, Noella Karen Iyali is here to bring you everything that you may have missed as well. Haruna Mubarak will bring you some updates on sports, and right of that, we shall bring you the news review. A lot happening despite it being a holiday yesterday in through to today. We shall bring you John Darko, MP for Swami, as well Nelson Kofi Jabab, MP Kratchi Eastern, as well Afel Money, former president of GJA. And on to big stories this morning. Peasants farmers warned that Ghana's annual food import bill of over $3.5 billion to go higher if government fails to take stronger action against illegal mining, following concerns about a new study by Pure Earth and the Environmental Protection Agency Authority by now, which revealed widespread contamination from mercury, arsenic, lead, and other heavy metals across artisanal and small-scale gold mining areas. We hear from Pure Earth and as well the peasants farmers. And today is quite a big day for the NPP as they also hit grounds this morning on a scheduled protest dubbed March Against State-Sponsored Harassment and Abuse of Power. We'll bring you live images of that action. You don't want to miss it. So joining the conversation with your thoughts when we get to open the phone lines. But until then, you can also join us via all of our social media handles. Noella is on standby to bring you the news. Quickly before that, the AM show is brought to you or sponsored by Kenoga Company Limited and as well Syntex Tank. Stay for some news.
Well, it's 6:06. You're still live on the Joy News channel. It's the AM show. You're welcome. But of course, it's now time for the news. And in the news, the opposition New Patriotic Party is asking President Mahama to proffer new alternatives to combat illegal mining. Here's Jacqueline Ansomoyeboa's report after the NPP visited the Kwanyaku treatment plant, which has become unwholesome due to activities of illegal miners.
Standing at the banks of the Yɛn Suro River in Kwanyaku, the water now runs a thick brown. A few minutes walk into town, residents are struggling to cope. From boreholes and wells that produce visibly dirty water to food vendors lamenting the impact on their trade. The once dependable river has become a burden instead of a blessing. One visibly shaking elderly resident told Joy News,
I am Papa. I am Papa. Because of this, I am soon.
It's Muya Day, Mohusa Muya Day, Diane, Mujari.
There were Oko, Office Yedobana, Bejan, Samson is a easy. I said, why a dam also? The whole central, one on Samsi, and empty from one Papa Yankee.
We once drank this water, but today we cannot even bathe with it. We vote for leaders, yet they do not act in our best interest.
You could go a dam on both sides. Everything we have. Hey, look. Well, what is about?
Another resident, preparing to bathe with water from a well, explained she has no choice but to boil and treat the brownish water with alum before use.
So yeah, and yes, I am and so we are yesterday bibia, even though yanum. But you see, the Moabim, too soon to see the end yet. Yes, Rabbi on Shamayang, no, so no. More Munja was Sigalam still for a more sense. And
soon I won't one
Ebula, Tibula
and a chronic color name.
But Bula Nasisa, yes, sir. You see, so Yamiadum, and Mampoqua Bedomia, Boho too. You are high, yes, sir. You do already be our.
So that is it over there. You can take a closer look. That is so she's going to bath. She has to boil it before. Yes. that is from the borehole. She has to boil it before. So every day, you have to boil it before.
Yes.
Say, in Sunu Ehra, is it going to be clean? Ebe clean kakra.
Along egum before and sana makudare.
Oh, okay. It has a boiling no. Odi alum nigum na kala nini te kakra.
After boiling the water, I add alum just to make it a bit clearer. Amidst the community's frustration, politicians have also waded into the debate. Director of Communications for Dr. Baumia's campaign, Dennis Miracles Abwaje, speaking at the Kwanyaku treatment plant, called on the government to propose fresh solutions to the Galamsey menace.
And simply telling the Galamseyers that if they manage to get the gold, whether through foul or fair means, he is ready to buy them.
Away from Kwanyaku, former President John Agyekum Kufuor is urging members of his party, the New Patriotic Party, to stay united, work diligently and avoid internal conflict as it prepares to elect its flag bearer in January 2026. Speaking at the commissioning of a new party office in Bantama in the Ashanti region, Mr. Kufuor admonished candidates to avoid hate speeches and keep their supporters in check for a peaceful election. Emmanuel Bright-Quaker reports.
The commissioning of the new Bantama office assembled senior party officials, constituency executives, traditional leaders, and members of the NPP loyal ladies. The Bantama constituency office has been described as a symbol of unity, grassroots empowerment, and dedication to effective party organization. Speaking at the event, ex-president John Agyekum Kufuor reminded the party of staying united to clinch the ultimate power in the next elections. We should learn to avoid insults. Even the aspirants aren't the ones throwing the insults, but their followers. Notwithstanding, some of them could be behind the insults. As the party prepares for the election of its flag bearer in 2026, General Secretary Justin Kuduafrempong stressed that the party must learn from its past mistakes and correct them before the next polls.
There were 2 years, 11 months to campaign for 2028 election. Can you see that?
The contention are as a result of the upcoming flag bearer race. After that election, we will have the party elders unite all of us to win power in 2028.
There were 2 former presidents and more
Bantama MP Francis Asenso-Boakye says the new office is an expression of his utmost gratitude to the constituents and party delegates for voting him into office. The delegates have shown me enormous support when I started my journey. They have given me enough votes to ensure I stay in power. This is my appreciation to you.
Now, still on the NPP, Minority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin has condemned the high level of corruption amongst political leaders and the youth. According to him, the menace has led to growing insincerity amongst Ghanaians, reason a number of people who benefited from government financing programs refused to pay back, leading to the collapse of numerous government initiatives. He spoke at the Youth Common Forum in Winneba. James Aveji has more.
The minority leader Alexander Kwanyaku has been back to his constituency here in the Central Region for the second edition of the Youth Common Platform, the first which happened at the University of Professional Studies, Accra, where he focused in Accra on galamsey issues as well as other key social issues. Speaking to a number of youth and constituents here in Winneba, has been touching on a number of social issues, including corruption, accountability, which in his view the youth and political leaders must pay attention to as far as governance and development is concerned.
My dear youths, when you get any support for your entrepreneurial prowess and you abuse it, bear in mind that you are denying the next generation an opportunity. Rawlings introduced the poverty alleviation program, where many traders in the informal sector got some financial support. They did not pay back. Kufuor came and continued. He introduced Maslow. If we go into the data and we ask how many people under Kufuor's government paid back the Maslow loan, perhaps we will not even get 5%. Akufo-Addo introduced the NEIP as well as continuation of the Maslow. People benefited, they didn't pay. And NPP, NDC has come back into office again. Maslow is there. And many of the youth are calling on the government to support them with facilities to do their business. Must we continue that path? No.
He also used the opportunity to urge the current NDC government to walk the talk in a fight against galamsey.
Today, our country stands at a crossroad. Galamsey is getting out of hand. The greed of few who believe they have to destroy our environment to make ends meet is going unchecked. We only perhaps make an effort but unable to nib it in the bud. We must all collectively talk about it, else there will be no country for us.
He's hopeful that the youth will learn from the political leaders as well as captains of industry in order to also forge their future to address issues of unemployment. From Winneba here in the Central Region, I am James Aveji for Joy News.
Now, Molex Foundation Africa, a STEM-focused organization, is intensifying its mission of training young girls to pursue careers in STEM fields. Now, the foundation intends to increase the number of participants in the Shiros in STEM bootcamp from 60 to 200. Making the announcement at the closing ceremony of Cohort 2 of the bootcamp, the CEO of Molex Foundation Africa, Dr. Patrick Essien, noted that for the next edition of the bootcamp, which will see an increase in participants, the target trainees will be girls from northern Ghana. Abigail Nkrumah Asel has more in this report.
60 young ladies were trained in robotics during the Shiros in STEM Cohort 2 bootcamp. The bootcamp, which was on a theme breaking barriers to access higher education, was powered by Molex Foundation Africa, a foundation empowering young African girls to overcome barriers and accomplish excellence in STEM fields. Speaking at the closing ceremony held in Accra, the CEO of Molex Foundation Africa, Dr. Patrick Essien, revealed plans of increasing the number of participants in the next edition of the bootcamp, this time targeting girls in northern Ghana.
Molex Foundation is poised that this program will not end here. Last year, we hosted the girls around Central Region and the Western Region. This year, we decided to extend our tentacles. So we reach out as far as Northern Region. So we have 3 people from Northern Region. Next year, we are not hitting the Southern sector again, but we are going straight to the North. And we've been hosting only 60 girls. But next year, we are targeting that we will host 200 girls in the North. when we pass through the beautiful roads of Accra, we see most of our Kayayo girls coming from the north. We can't just talk about it. If you want to stop this, it begins from somewhere. Let's try to motivate these young girls. Let's try to give them skills.
The Member of Parliament for Talensi, Daniel Dang Mahama, urged parents to prioritize the education of their female children.
I also encourage all parents that we should give a very good opportunity to our young ladies. How can we give this opportunity to our young ladies? We need to train our young girls, not only for kitchen like those days that they used to say. We need to give them opportunity in education. The same opportunity that we give it to the boys, we should give it to our young ladies to inspire, and then they'll work well. So this opportunity given to them and all the children who learn, students who are studying science, they should take it so seriously that future generation will also inspire on that.
Rebecca Shari, the Director for Human Resource and Administration of GIFEC at the Ministry of Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, lauded the participants and promised support for the foundation.
GIFEC is ready to support the Moles Foundation in any way we can to amplify their initiatives. We will make a positive impact on the community, foster innovation, and contribute to the development of talents, women in STEM. To Moles Foundation Africa, we commend your visionary initiative and reaffirm our commitment to walk this journey with you.
The closing ceremony also saw the remembrance of some fallen contributors to the Shiros in STEM initiative. For Joy News, Abigail Lissol Nkoma reports.
Now, a Supreme Court Judge, Justice Jamepe, has urged the populace, especially the young, to develop an interest in reading the law irrespective of their profession. He explained that if not for practice, reading the law would help people understand their basic rights as enshrined in the Constitution, which would enhance democracy. He was speaking at a ceremony to mark the 50th anniversary completion of the Hohoi Evangelical Presbyterian Senior High School.
60 young ladies were trained in robotics during the It
was a nostalgic moment for Justice Sena Jamepe and his mates when they visited their alma mater that shaped them. They departed from the Hohoi Evangelical Presbyterian Senior High School in 1975 with some never setting foot in their alma mater. A member of the 1975 batch, Richard Agbeku Atipu, said the visit was to symbolize the beginning of a friendship between his badge and the school.
First, to celebrate our 50th year of graduation, and then secondly, to showcase Justice Sena Jamepe to the school, or more or less to the students. To, like my Lord said, we want, this is the beginning of the friendship between our group, 75 group, and HEPS now, from now on.
The headmaster, Franklin Amesimeku, laid some appeals before the 1975 batch, hoping they would be provided to augment academic activities.
We ask that the school is old, it's about 64 years old. We do not have a functional bus, so we put it before the year ago to assist the school get a bus. We also informed them that the school does not have any assembly hall or dining hall complex. So this also we put before them. And lastly, we ask that they support the school with a staff bungalow.
Justice Sena Jamepe, in response, announced the commencement of a science block and library projects for the school.
The chairman of the Get Fund has asked me, the board chairman has asked me to officially announce you that your science block will be awarded on contract. And you don't need to be a lawyer to know your rights. Every human being must know his or her rights. The lecturers, students, if you don't know your rights, people will cheat you. Law is something you cannot avoid in your life. That's why somebody will say for your clothes, you don't know what to do. Somebody's class, you don't know what to do. I'm totally somebody's taking your hand. you need to know your rights. So please, I want to develop the interest in law.
Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Hohoe.
Well, let's do business now. And the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana has attributed the low sales and taxes from the retail sector to the consistent increases in utility tariffs by the PURC. The business group argues due to the imposition of high tariffs, most businesses do not produce enough, thereby affecting their profit margins. Their concern follows a report from the Bank of Ghana. The taxes from retail sales in the country have not improved since the beginning of this year. Speaking to Joy Business, chairman of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana urged government to consider reviewing the tariffs for local businesses.
The tariff hikes by the PURC was going to affect businesses or exacerbate the situation of Ghanaian businesses because sales in the market have dropped by as much as 70%. And I'm so happy that the Bank of Ghana has also come now to confirm that indeed my statement is right, because it appears that everything is at a standstill in the market. And this is for the food and beverages sector. And we all know that the food is a necessity. So if you go into the market and you open your restaurant, you open your hotel, you display bags of rice, sugar, drinks, and all that. And at the end of the day, nothing is sold. And this is food, a necessity. People must eat in order to live. So if this is really the situation, then my question is, what is happening to the non-food sector?
And the executive director of the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, Ben Boakye, has called for a diversified funding approach, including the use of pension funds to finance energy sector projects. Despite ongoing government negotiations with independent power producers over unpaid debt, cost of electricity remain high due to systemic inefficiencies and challenges with power purchase agreement. Now, Mr. Boakye explained the cheaper electricity can be achieved through innovative financing models, particularly a mix of public-private partnerships and alternative funding sources, such as pension funds channeled through infrastructure bonds. He made these remarks at an energy conference.
The proposal that we've had on the table is for us to clean up that space, to make sure that utilities can act right and be able to generate the needed revenues to cater for their value chain, so that we stop the accumulation of debt in the sector. If you don't do that, then you're not incentivizing other business people to also invest. You're not incentivizing the capital market to do the investments that are required. We also looked at the cost of capital, which of course is linked to some of the risks that we've talked about. But again, we still really need to look at cost of financing in our continent to see how we bring it down. The suggestion has been for us to do a blended financing that clearly optimizes and shares the risk for investors to have tailored projects that they can actually put their money into. So clearly, there is opportunity for growth. There's opportunity to elevate our people out of poverty by giving them energy, but that energy has to be, affordable. And the way to deal with that is make sure that there's transparency around contracting, and also we're capitalizing on emerging technologies such as solar, to extend electricity to the poorer of the poor.
When you say blending financing, what exactly do you mean by this, and how can we pull this together?
So there are various schemes. We have multilaterals, we have local banks, we have pension funds that are all doing financing. How do we bring them together to actually look at how we share risk and be able to develop projects on time, for the people to benefit?
Well, to wrap up the business segment, let's check out the prices of some goods on our commodity market. Right after, we'll bring you sports update right here on the AM show. I'm Noella Karaniali. Stay tuned in.
Do sports now on the AM show. My name is Haruna Mubarak. Now, Anthony Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hen, says Ghana could host one of the biggest fights in boxing history. Hen revealed they would love to see a bout between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury in Africa. He said this in an interview with Pound Sterling.
We all want to know, because I'm culture, like, what's next for AJ?
I think he's going to have one fight in January or February, and we look to do that in Ghana. Good. I think it will be unbelievable for him to fight in Africa.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It'll be amazing.
Yeah.
And then we want Fury. You know, I mean, that's ultimately the only fight out there that people are calling for every single day.
Yeah.
I think right now it's the biggest fight in boxing. Yeah. And some people say it's not the biggest fight in boxing. I say, I could tell me a bigger one. It is, and it will always be, and hopefully we can get them still while they're in their prime. Boots to fill.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, he is an outstanding prospect. We just got to give him a chance to evolve. The problem is with a heavyweight game, one punch can change everything. It doesn't matter about the level you're fighting at. It's all dangerous, but it's exciting. I think we got a real one there. Sonny's got a good fighter on his hands.
Now, Ghana's under-17 side, the Black Starlets, are chasing a spot in the knockout stage of the ongoing Wafu Zone B Boys Championship after their 1-1 draw with Togo in their opener. They face host Ivory Coast later today at 6 p.m. in their second group match, and of course they are in Group A. Their head coach Prosper Nate Ogum says he wants his side to be more clinical in front of goal.
If you look at what we've done so far after the game, the 2 days, just after the game we had our recovery session. We spoke about the match. We've had a video session to look at what we did in the game that was right and was wrong. And then we've come onto the field to also put into practice what we think that we need to consolidate, and then what we think that we need to correct. With in place, I'm sure we are more than ready. If you look at the body language of the players, they are in high spirit. The mood is a very positive one. They look very happy. They look very focused and ready to get a job done tomorrow. I think for now, creating the chances is not an issue. It's about converting. And then upon what happened in our last game, we had a full session on goal scoring, on finishing, trying to make sure that we are able to attack the ball from certain angles within the box and just outside the box. We created situations. Some of the situations were situations that happened in the game. So we recreated them and then made sure that they did them. And I think the conversion was good at training. So if anything is to go by, I'm sure from what we saw at training, our conversion rate will be better than you saw in our game against Togo. But then the dynamics of training and the dynamics of a game are different. So sometimes it affects the reflex action of the skill execution of these boys. So that's something that sometimes affects our conversion rate. But then we've had a talk with them, and we'll continue to have the talk up till when the game is about to start, to make sure that they believe that they can score when they are in front of.
Now, to the Ghana Premier League, Hearts of Oak secured their first victory of the season. This follows their 1-0 win over Dreams FC at the Ni Ejo Kroku Sports Complex in Tema, Newtown. Now, the decisive moment came in the 14th minute when midfielder Mohamed Hussein found the back of the net. The victory lifts Hearts to 4th place on the table. Highlights for you.
You're watching the AM show. Thank you so much for staying with us. The show is sponsored by Kenoga Company Limited and Syntex Tank. Syntex Tank, a strong, a tough. Let's now get into news review. And this morning, we're joined by Nelson Kofi Jabab, MP Kratchi East. We're also joined by Mr. Afel Money, former President GJA. And just a little later, we just might be joined by MP for Swami, John Darko. But right now, though, there's so much happening in the news this morning. The NPP is set to embark on a demonstration or a protest. They are not excited about how they say that the government is using the machinery to suppress some people. And so we'll talk about that. The fallout of yesterday's Galamsey protest as well. There was a night before yesterday, which was a vigil by Democracy Hub, and they continued yesterday as well. The conversation about what Pure Earth and the Environmental Protection Authority have been looking into the impact directly on you and I of Galamsey, the water you're probably drinking, the fish you're having, the contumbre that you're having as well probably might have some lead in there. And what are also some of the peasant farmers saying if Galamsey is not dealt with? So let's get into it, but quickly, Ghana, let's talk about water tanks. Do you know the secret to real water storage? It's simple. If your tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, then it's not the correct tank. Yeah, it's not. It has to have the tortoise tank on it. Syntex Tank is the champion of water tanks. It is strong and durable and built to handle our Ghanaian weather, rain or shine. Syntex Tank has your back. So my people, go outside, check your tank, and if it doesn't have the tortoise on it, it's time to upgrade. Join the Syntex Tank family today and enjoy water storage that's tough like a tortoise. You can as well call them on 0244-335-168 to buy now, or find one of their 400 agents nationwide. You can as well shop online at syntexgh.com. Syntex Tank, a year strong, a year tough. Mr. Money, good morning. Mr. Jabab, good morning. Thank you for joining us. How was your constituency?
The constituency was fine.
Okay.
The good people of Kratchi East, they extend their greetings to you. In fact, they love watching Joy News a lot.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad that they do. Good morning, people of Kratchi East. Thank you for watching us. What's the staple over there? Yam or what? What's this? The yam?
Yam predominantly. But you know, the tasteful tilapia you get from Adabraka, it's from Dambai. Adabraka market, if you go there, tilapia, the big ones.
Yes.
They are from Dambai.
Oh.
Dambai, Abuja.
Not contaminated.
Yes.
Contaminated.
It's not contaminated.
Pure tilapia is from Dambai.
Okay.
Pure yam is from Dambai.
Right. Is it still safe for us to be eating it? It's very safe.
Very safe.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll talk about how safe your food is because there's been a research by now. You know that some of the foods that are coming from some parts of this country is contaminated. We'll get to talk to that.
I'm just reading something on poisoning.
You were?
Rice.
Yeah? Yeah?
Public hospitals,
Is it
20%.
Is it not shocking to you?
It's shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Shocking.
We'll get into it. But this morning, the Daily Graphic is reporting that SHS students must use harmonized prospectus, freshers to report October 18th. If you didn't know, parents, here's something that you should know as well. And the little commotion between the the Vice Chancellor of UCC, there's that controversy between the former Vice Chancellor and GTEC as well. And GTEC is taking punitive measures against UCC. The story is on page 13 of the Daily Graphic this morning. And as well, health alert, poison cases on the rise. The story is on page 13. Mr. Money, what do you have on the...
Graphic business, government raises 3.4 billion cedis in T-bill sale.
All right.
At a rate drop below 15%.
Okay.
Ghana Stock Exchange market capitalization hits 157.37 billion. Banks pledge support for 24-hour economy initiative. MTN Mobile Money CEO pushes for digital inclusion, and something on sports.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you have on which one? You have the Insight, and there's another paper as well.
Newspaper. And then on the front page, we have imperialism in crisis. We have eulogizing Osajfo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah at 116 years. We have Mahama to launch Accra Reset at 2025. We have in Medina, women entrepreneurs receive 500,000 boost from Julius Debra, the Chief of Staff. And then we have Ghana Trade Fair, third Osajifo Made in Ghana Fair, champions economic independence for Ghanaians through local enterprise.
Okay. There's another paper I think you have. The Daily Guide.
Yeah, this Daily Guide.
Okay. Nana Jabs who Mahama over poor.
Yeah, that's the Daily Guide. You want me to read?
Yes, yes, please let me know what's in front of the Daily Guide.
Daily Guide, NPP Yɛn Suro Ahunahuna Demo today.
Okay.
That's what they say, Yɛn Suro Ahunahuna today. They are
intimidation, yeah? Okay.
Then they go ahead to say, Nana Jabs, Mahama over poor performance.
Okay.
Well, well, this is rhetorical and funny.
So you have something that has your attention at least.
Yes. Then Kumasi bounces back after Asante Hima's funeral.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, at least we're certain and we're sure what's making the headlines this morning. But Mr. Moni, it's day 2 of the week already. Yesterday was a holiday. How was your holiday? What has your attention?
Restful.
Okay.
Restful. After church on Sundays, I had one more day to rest and reflect on happiness in this country and to tackle some family issues.
Okay.
So it went well. This idea of pushing holidays to Mondays and Fridays, it's a very good one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's come at the right time. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, what is in the news that has your attention? Yesterday, the Democracy Hub said, well, prior to the election, they had done a lot of protests against illegal mining. And, well, they don't think that the government is taking very decisive actions against illegal mining. So the night before, they did a vigil, and then yesterday was a major protest for them. Today as well, the NPP is also embarking on another protest. They say that it is a march against state-sponsored harassment and abuse of power. Which one of them has your attention?
Before I ventilate my comment on any of them, I'd like us to take a look at the calls for renaming Kotoka International Airport after Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
Okay.
And fresh from the Founders Day holiday, it's worth noting that the celebration of Kwame Nkrumah continues to reverberate, and His Eminence Peter Appiah texting is a record of having called for the renaming of Kotoka International Airport after Kwame Nkrumah. His point is that if we are serious as a nation to reset morally and democratically, then there's a need to re-examine the symbols as very important national landmarks. And with alacrity, I support the call to rename Kotoka International Airport after Kwame Nkrumah. In fact, it's natural to run out of superlatives in describing the monumental roles and instrumental contribution of Kwame Nkrumah relative to Ghana's independence, Ghana's accelerated development, Africa liberation, and African personality. His Excellency, former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, etched his name in history by refurbishing the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, which now serves as a magnet to attract scores of tourists and also as an avenue to spin revenue for the state. So it's up to His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama to go ahead and rename Kotoka International Airport after our peerless president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. The Bank of Ghana should also follow suit, actually, by dedicating a currency to Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Putting Kwame Nkrumah in the bracket for basis is a historical anomaly. So there's a need for that historical rectitude. And this rectitude can be exemplified or actuated by dedicating a currency, other than the 200 CD note, or introducing a new currency altogether.
Dedicated
to Osajifo Dr. Kwame.
What then will happen to Kotoka then? Or because he led through a military regime.
Circumstances under which he overthrew Kwame Nkrumah. You know, some of us were very young, and we joined the celebration, but not knowing it was done in foolishness. Because that act of overthrowing Kwame Nkrumah took us way back, centuries back. We had to struggle until 1992, when, as a nation, went to the ballot box to jettison the bullet course and embrace the ballot box. And since then, our democracy has been thriving, not without, of course, some challenges. But we are better off, far better than 1966 when Kwame Nkrumah was overthrown.
Okay. Let me go to Honorable. What have you been thinking about that you want to share with us, or if you want to respond to?
Thank you very much. What I've been thinking to share with Ghanaians this morning is the warning from Ghana Health Service that poisoning is on the rise in our public hospitals. In fact, he even went ahead to give a shocking statistics that you go to public hospitals, about 20 of the cases you see could be attributed to food poisoning or other forms of poisoning. And you know why? These days, especially farmers, they have become so much dependent on chemicals for farming, some as weedicides and whatnot, that in itself might not be the danger, but how they keep it, how they protect it, especially from children, could be the danger. You know, a child ignorant of anything come to see something in a bottle, may think it's anything drinkable, can drink it. And all this could result in the rising cases of poisoning we see. Some even, unfortunately, end their lives. So we want to advise, especially parents, that every container of a chemical substance you buy, there is an instruction warning you to keep it away from the reach of children. They should save their children, and for that matter, help save the people of Ghana. And of course, to add is also to add my voice to those who eulogize Osagyefo, the iconic Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, on his 116th birthday yesterday. In fact, I was following it, and I got impressed, and I got challenged. Kwame Nkrumah, born in the soil of Gold Coast, which is today Ghana, left that impressive footprints for young generations to follow. And we have a responsibility to make that say Kwame Nkrumah never dies, continues never to die. And I believe that my president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will help us realize the visions of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, wherever he left them, to a successful end.
Right. Mr. Money, let's get into the march that the NPP set to embark on. Well, they stated 6 a.m. By now, I'm certain that they've hit the streets already. This march, is it in order?
Certainly, yes. It's backed by the Constitution. We have the right, everyone has the right to demonstrate, ventilate your concerns, articulate your views on issues concerning you or your party. But this should be done within the confines of the law. I believe NPP has obtained the right clearance from the security authorities to embark on this demonstration. Our only appeal is that it should be peaceful. Nothing untoward should be done to breach the peace or invite police intervention, which can also lead to something else. Violence should never be associated with this march. And what they are calling for, end to government intimidation. Of course, they have a right to speak out against acts which they see as inimical to their interests as a party. They've cited a number of cases which have not gone their way. Ambronia case is one of them. When it comes to Ambronia, people have their views. Because Ambronia style of politicking is something else. But there's no justification for official authorities to punish him outside the confines of the law. So the police should be on alert, red alert. MPP should also operate within the confines of
Beyond the procedure, which I like to think that most of the protesters in this country would definitely go through the process. They're highly not likely to want to breach the process. The reason why they're protesting, is it enough for a protest? They say that the government is harassing them. You know, if I'll just quote exactly what they are marching for, is it in order? And I think that this comes immediately after the matter with Abronye, that beyond Abronye, they feel that the government has targeted them in special way of some kind of power abuse. Do you think that the cracks and the reason why they're marching is very substantive? Or is just a position, it's just a position party being at a position party as usual?
You know, ours is a country which is sharply divided on partisan lines, and it's natural for people to use partisan lenses to look at issues. It's natural for the opposition party to look at issues from their own lenses. But in between the NPP lenses lies the objective reality. So when Ghanaians are watching, we are monitoring. But I will not fault NPP for embarking on the demonstration, not at all, because it's within their constitutional right to hit the street, ventilate their concerns, articulate whatever they want to put across, and also galvanize their base. Yeah, this might not be expressed publicly, but it could be a factor.
It is a test for them to see how much influence they still have on the base?
Yes, because the party ought to be in shape for 2028. The processes have begun. In January, God willing, they will choose a new flag bearer.
Yeah.
So by the party ought to be, energized, very energized.
Okay.
To be in readiness to fight the battle in 2028. So
I mean, you were quite vocal about the judge that denied him bail because he thought that the reason behind the decision was a bit frivolous. That's what you thought. But since then, we have not heard anything whether, I mean, of course, he's been granted bail and all of that, but the judge in question is only the reason the people have questioned and said that legal practitioners have said that even that is not the ideal way to want to deal with such a matter. Do you think that they are right if they say that the government is using their machinery to abuse them?
As I said, they have the right to put all kinds of interpretations to how the law is being applied relative to your members. But in case of Ambonia, many people have their issues with Ambonia because Ambonia represents something else. He unrestrained, that is unrestrained by scruples, to go after perceived enemies of NPP.
Yeah.
And his outlandish allegations, there's no limit in what Abronia speaks out. Abronia will spew out a panoply of insults without a let of hindrance. And this is not... NPP has come out to even dissociate themselves from some
of things.
Yes, negative utterances.
Okay.
Abronia is something else when it comes to politics. But his political sins, so to speak, do not justify his
the law. Okay.
Beyond the prescribed 24 hours.
Okay. Mr. Jabab, let's talk about the march. Let's talk about the march that the NPP is set to embark on. They say that the government, there's a state-sponsored harassment and abuse of power. Do you agree?
Why would I agree?
But if it's true, why would you not agree?
It's not. If NPP terms this as state-sponsored harassment and whatnot, then I don't understand and I don't agree with them, and we'll never agree with them too. You see, when we go to 1992 Constitution, I mean the Fourth Republic, all the way coming, if you want people who have led remarkable demonstrations in this country, it is NPP. So what they are doing is not different. It's not different from what they are typically known of. NPP and demonstrations, they are well known of that. Recently, what do you see? Even in Parliament, when an issue is issued, we think they will come together for all of them. Minority will come together with majority to think of a way forward for a formidable nation building. They say they walk out. They say they boycott. So NPP and demonstrations, they are friends. It's like, how do you call it? A Bafani form, as we normally say it.
Okay.
They and demonstrations, they are used to it. Why are they terming this as state harassment? What is state harassment in this sense? Unless one can tell me.
Did you follow the Abronia case? How whether he walked into the police headquarters himself, whichever way, but did you follow all through to court until he was granted bail? How do you find the way he was treated in terms of the matter?
Thoroughly, I didn't follow it.
Okay, I can walk you through.
Yes, walk me through.
Well, so the crux of the matter, or the part that got a lot of people quite surprised, was the fact that seeking bail, the judge who sat on the matter was quite unable to cite a precedent as to why he was not going to grant him a bail and denied him bail, and use philosophical means to be able to still keep him in bail. So while people are not questioning whether the things he said were offensive, people are questioning the process which he was taking through. He was taken to court in a Black Maria. People thought that, well, this is somebody that you know. Why are you taking him to court? How grave is this offense for you to want to take him through a Black Maria and all of the police came up to say that they did that to protect him in any way. If you look at the pockets of things and how the matter was dealt with, they felt that, well, it looks like, well, because of the conversation, it's as if the government had come to an ant fight with a sledgehammer, and they thought that it was quite unfair. And so on the back of this, they also cited some social media influencers and some of the comments that they had made about the president. They feel that when the matter is concerning them, the police do not use the same amount of energy to deal with the matter, unlike if it's a matter concerning the NDC. Do you feel like that?
I don't feel like that.
You don't feel like that?
I don't feel, and why I wanted to add is that the judge in that time was acting in the capacity as a judge. Wasn't President the Muhammad they are attacking? Was he the one sitting in the seat as a judge? Obviously, it wasn't Muhammad who was sitting in the seat. The judge, when they sit in their seats, are entitled to whatever pronouncement, whatever rules they make, guided by the law. Is that clear?
Yeah.
So if the judge made ruling, if he made some pronouncement, if he made some judgments that they felt is inconsistent with what is inherent in the Constitution, it's up to them to challenge it, but not to attack the innocent president sitting somewhere that he ordered the police to use that state force against the NPP. Sometimes it is what they did. Sometimes it is what NPP did in their time when they were in power. They think NDC could be doing the same. No.
But how can we
NDC will not do that.
They are a political party, so if they believe that when they were a political party, some of the things that they did, it's possible that the current government is also doing it. Why would we not believe it?
That is why I said that sometimes their previous deeds is what is haunting them. And they think NPP is like, NDC is like them. NDC is not like that. NDC will not use the state-sponsored institutions like the police to harass anybody on political differences.
Okay.
No. Abronye was arrested. Reasons why he was arrested, that is known to Ghana Police Service. And we don't work with Ghana Police Service. We are not with Ghana Police Service. And I know my president will not sit in the Flagstaff House, in the Jubilee House, and dictate to IGP and dictate to the police how they should turn the laws to deal with political opponents. Perceived. We will not do that.
Okay. Let's because of the march that we're discussing, let's take a trip back to the Democracy Hub march. The matter is simple, that the fight against illegal mining is not very decisive. That the promises that the current government made in the way that we're going to fight illegal mining, it's not the same. If you take Democracy Hub even out, you've seen the number of researchers that have come out, Pure Earth together with, if Pure Earth even did that independently, then we may say that if a body doesn't support a political party whether it's in government, they can tweak numbers. But luckily, Pure Earth did this together with the Environmental Protection Authority, which means that the research is quite apt and cannot even be faulted. Let me stay with you. When you heard about contombre possibly being contaminated, when you heard about fish possibly contaminated, at some point it will show you the color of the water that a woman in Kwanyaku was going to take a bath with because she had to boil it. How do you feel about the overall fight against illegal mining as we speak today?
Thank you. When it comes to the issue of galamsey, in fact, it's an issue that we all have a responsibility to play. We all have a duty to play. When you were on that topic, you even talked about contombre. You sit in Accra yet to eat contombre. If that contombre is poison from all the way in, let's say, Obuasi or Prisia or wherever, as a result of illegal mining, and you eat it here, you're also at risk. I eat it here, I'm at risk. So the issue of illegal mining is such a critical one which we all need to be concerned as a nation. I hear some people are emphasizing on the state of emergency be declared. Some are even advocating for shoot to kill and the rest. But to me, I think I differ. Because what we need to do in this fight against galamsey, which the current government has initiated the process, is that we need to look at enactment legislations. These legislations might not just come by way of legislations, because galamsey started in some few areas. Obuasi, the predominantly known mining areas. But today, what can you talk about galamsey in Ghana? Almost all the regions are getting caught up with mining. Let me put it that way. Let me not right to say illegal mining. All the regions. Those days, you will never hear of mining in the Upper East region. You will not hear of mining in Bolgatanga. You hear of mining in Savannah region. You hear of mining in Uti region. You hear of mining in Upper West region. Which means that gradually, all these areas are getting caught up with mining. Once they are getting caught up with mining, the associated bad side of it, which is galamsey or illegal mining, no wonder we also, begin to spring up in these areas. So if we kind of initiate a control measure, we kind of initiate a policy.
What are we talking about, Mr. Jabab? What initiation are we talking about? Our laws in this country already does not allow it frowns upon illegal mining. You mentioned that if we come up with policies, which other policies can we? The existing policies are not enough.
The
so you're talking about enforcement.
Yes.
In fact,
that's what I'm saying. Some people are calling. You can even hear some people say that it's a shoot to kill.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying that if we mean to implement a shoot to kill, we eventually end up killing everybody in Ghana.
But it's not everybody that is engaged in illegal mining.
The process that the government is undertaking, like to repeal LI 62.
It's been 9 months. How difficult is it to repeal an LI?
It's difficult.
You're in Parliament. Let me in. How difficult is it?
Because this deals with a critical issue like galamsey. Before sometimes you just take certain decisions, you need to look at the consequences. You cannot estimate the number of people involved in galamsey.
So, okay.
Are you understanding it?
But in 2024, in your campaign, the NDC's campaign, I like to think that there were members of Parliament as part of your campaign. When you drew your campaign themes, your message, did they not know that repealing an LI or a law in Parliament was cumbersome? Did you not consider all of this? Why did you promise to repeal it then?
The NDC promised to repeal it.
Yeah?
But NDC didn't promise you that in 8 months, 2 months, they have repealed it.
I would have thought that you say it is an existential challenge. You say that illegal mining is existential. It is an emergency. It is a problem. You can see it. It is one of your campaign messages.
It is a problem, yes. You need to tackle the problem, which the government has tackled, as you can see. But you don't just, what I mean is that overnight, you don't just sit down and make some amendments, some changes without taking due process.
Making a law and repealing it, which one is difficult in Parliament? If you have to, when you have to prepare a bill for it to become a law, the process of it,
yes,
and repealing it, which one is difficult? I like to think making a law is difficult than repealing it. I like to think correctly.
It depends. Okay. It depends on the kind of law you want to repeal.
I ask this because I've seen Parliament stay overnight to pass bills if it was a bill that was supposed to impugn taxes or something. I've seen Parliament dedicated to a particular bill and make sure that they're passing it into a law. I've seen it. In fact, some have been passed under certificates of urgency.
Yes, that is true. What you have seen is true. What I mean is that in making law, in repealing law, in amending law, it takes sometimes some process. Are you understanding? Which the government has initiated. And surely we'll get to the bottom of it.
Okay, so I recognize that in repealing the law, you didn't promise in a month or two, but you mentioned you were going to look at that law.
Yes.
Now, currently, since the NDC visited that particular airline, what's the challenge you've been discovering? What have you been finding? What has made it difficult to repeal it immediately?
Nothing has made it difficult to repeal it immediately. The process has begun, as you know. But it's just about looking at what will be the consequences. Is it, for example, the law of the act to mine in the forest reserves in 2022, we understand it. Now, the government has now come out clearly against it, okay? Whereas our reserve areas have been re-reclaimed.
Initially, you were going to amend it. You were not going to repeal until the pressures on you that repeal it entirely. Initially, you were going to, amend it some sort of...
All those are processes, as I said. You were thinking of the consequences. What would be the effects if this amendment is done? What would be the effects if it is completely repealed? So repealing, amending, and whatever, it is the process. That's why I'm saying that the government is taking the right steps to see what will be done for the good of the people of Ghana. And that will be done.
Okay. Mr. Mani, I want you to respond to a few of the things. I'll come back to you, Honorable.
I think the points can hardly be articulated. That the right degree of political will is so conspicuous by its absence in the fight against Galamsey. As a result, the minds of most well-meaning Ghanaians are boggled by the inability or the chronic failure of the state to uproot Galamsey, to deal a surgical blow to Galamsey, which threatens to sentence the present and future generations to destruction or extinction. A dark pall hangs over this country, induced by Galamsey. There have been calls from civil society, there have been calls from the clergy, calls from very serious quarters, all urging officialdom to step up, scale up the fight against Galamsey. Efforts are being made. Efforts are being made. Once in a while, state agencies will swoop on Galamsey, seize equipment. And the number of equipment seized runs into thousands. But all those attempts fail to move the needle as far as the fight against Galamsey is concerned. It's a process, as it's a process. So all that we are pushing, all that women Ghanaians are pushing for, that please quicken this process, inject more robustness, inject more seriousness into the fight against Galamsey. And it cannot be ruled out that people in political places, well-connected politicians who are in Galamsey, the people, the boys we see and the young boys we see, digging the ground, polluting the ground, are not the real causes of. They are not the real problems. They scratch the surface, but this is the time has come for us to deal with Galamsey from the root and not the branch. The branch approach is better to arrest them, put them behind bars, and impose heavy fines on them. But the root approach is to ensure that go after the financiers, police and water bodies, and we are told that our forest reserves to be manned by soldiers 24/7. This is a step in the right direction. But all I want to see that stability levels should come down. The color of our water bodies should take its right original, resume its original color. Our water bodies should resume their original color. That's what we can conclude that some strides are being made in the fight against Galamsey. But for now, you know, there's optimism is in short supply as far as the fight against Galamsey is concerned.
There's a way I like to ask a question, especially if a member of parliament belongs to a sitting government. If you're a member of parliament and you didn't belong to this government, how would you genuinely rate the effort of government in the fight against Galamsey in the last 8 months? And I ask you this in all honesty, especially because of our water turbidity level. I hear you say that it's a process. I acknowledge that it's a process, but drinking water is not a process, it's an immediate need. That's just a challenge. Eating the contombre is not a process, it is an immediate need. So how would you rate the fight against that the fight for that immediate need, just opposing it with a process which we say the fight against illegal mining is? How would you rate it?
If you ask, indeed I said it's a process. And the effort to safeguard our water body, for that matter, ensuring that every Ghanaian has access to good drinking water. Like somebody said, the pure color of water should be retained. In fact, it's a responsibility on all of us. But I want to say that if you look at the commitment of the current government to the fight against Galamsey, it's commendable. But why I told you it's a process because whatever action you take, you know, sometimes you call for constitutional amendment, as we say. You need to amend some areas, and when you amend it, when you repeal it, mind you, whatever you put there has become a new law. Is that not it? So you've got to be very careful as to how you handle it. That's why it takes judicial process. It takes strategic process. You need to be very careful as you take process to amend whatever allies govern the illegal mining. But I can assure you, and I know you know, that in the fight, in the past 8 months, down to 9 months now, the efforts of this government is commendable.
We'll come to how we'll commend that. Because again, I'm saying that drinking water is not a process. You're thirsty, you need the water. But stay with me. I am taking all of us plus our viewers to Brass Sports, where the NPP is set to start their march. Let's just gauge the mood. My colleague Musbao is there to engage some people who are probably there. Yeah, yet.
Well, I mean, in no time, you saw the number of people that just moved in within a short period of time. In no time, we should expect that the whole place will be filled up. But the question is not even about the number of people we are counting on our fingers. The question is the impact and the symbolism of making sure that our voices were counted today. And so, I mean, in no time, we'll be moving to the presidency, we'll be moving to the Ghana Police Service to register a petition and the concerns we have about how they are treating the Ghanaian youth.
I mean, you say you go there to register your petitions. What exactly are you petitioning the president to do? Because they say all of these instances that you cited, it is due process that is being followed, it's the law that is being followed, and it's not somebody acting arbitrary.
First of all, the right to free speech is guaranteed under Chapter 5 of our Constitution. Again, if you recognize that TikTokers are members of new media, it's a classification. And they are also enjoined under Article 172 of our Constitution that you shall not censor media engagement. You cannot censor individuals and what they put out there. We are not saying that people should go out there and be, you know, attacking elderly people and be insulting. But at least some rationality must prevail. The government that benefited from a Kevin Taylor communication attacking every relevant person in this country cannot today turn itself and say that young people who are expressing discontent about the way of our governance, we are going to use IP addresses to be tracking them. That is not the John Mahama government that we voted for. If indeed people's justification is that the NPP government did something untoward, that is why the Ghanaian people voted massively for the NDC. We expect results. We expect reasonability to prevail. We are going to a peaceful demonstration. We are going to the police headquarters to present our petition that you can invite us to a police head office. You can invite us to answer questions on concerns you have. But you cannot be barging into our rooms, breaking our doors just in the name of effecting our arrest when we are not running away from the law. So that is why we are here today.
Well, quite a number of NPP stalwarts are also here. I mentioned that the former health minister, Dr. Okoboy, is also here. He is in his black outfit and his jeans and is ready to hit the street. Honorable, good to have you. Why are you here today joining the youth protest?
Well, I think we are here because the most fundamental feature of a democracy is being attacked and is being threatened. And that fundamental feature is the freedom of speech. What we have to understand that in every society, not all of us have the same level of enlightenment, the same level of upbringing, and the same level of intelligence. So when you are in a democracy, you must be ready to tolerate all kinds of behavior, especially when it comes to speech. By virtue of my level of education and my training and my personal values, there is a way I'll put a point across, which might look to you very proper. You have others who want to make a point, but might not have the training and the intellect to do so. They will speak in a crude manner, sometimes in an insulting manner. But the beauty of democracy is that all such people are tolerated in the society. Immediately, somebody can be arrested and handcuffed for talking in a way that in another person's judgment is not proper. It means all of us are in danger. And why am I saying so? You might think you are speaking well tomorrow, but the one in power tomorrow will say that your speech is not proper. And that is a threat. Secondly, all democracies or societies that were successful in the past, what made them lose their success was this culture of silence. Because people are being arrested for what they post on TikTok or how they speak, it will get to a time before someone talks, they will think twice. If you start thinking twice before you talk, and that's not to say you should speak foolishly in code, excuse my language, but if there is some fear in what you say, because you could be arrested, it will get to a time people will not speak at all. And when people stop speaking, the society is no more dynamic, and we will lose our innovativeness and drive. And so we are here for two reasons: to make sure that freedom of speech is protected, and secondly, to protest against the behavior of institutions like the police that is expected to be professional and expected to be neutral. Why would you say that Chairman Azoka of the NDC has been arrested and given bail when there is no picture of his interaction and his arrest? But when you get abroad here, you put him in handcuffs, take a picture, and it goes viral on NDC platforms. Why do you go to Sir Obama, an NPP activist, at 4 a.m., break through his door, enter his room, not that he has touched or harmed anybody, but because he posted a picture on Facebook? I mean, these are dangerous precedents. Let's all be honest. If anybody told you that NDC under President John Dramani Mahama will do this, would you believe it? Look at the nature of President John Dramani Mahama. On the outside, very calm, very tolerant, yet under him, look at what is happening. So
say the law is what is working. The law is what is working. They spoke, and the things they said, some were defamatory, some were threats to public peace, and all of that is captured in the law. And the law speaks to the fact that they contravene the law and they are being, taken through the due process.
The most dangerous undertaking that can take place in a society is injustice, which is wearing the dress of the law. It is the most cruel activity that can happen, where someone targets you because you are with multimedia, comes to arrest you because you wrote something that he says will breach public peace, puts you in handcuffs, and when they ask, he will tell you it's the law. They can say it's the law today, but when it gets to you, you know that it is the personal agenda of people to persecute others. Nobody is saying that we should be unlawful. But let me make this point, which was made by a journalist very forcefully. All of you, it is in your interest, even as journalists, to support this point. He said, let a citizen speak anyhow. If you think there's something wrong, take him through civil prosecution. Take him to court. Sue him for civil, libel, defamation. The mere presence of hiring a lawyer, it is a burden. The citizen realize that, hey, if you speak anyhow, you can go through some stress. But why should you put a man in Black Maria, my brother, a whole van for armed criminals, You have one person in a black Maria with 5-7 policemen. When they ask you what he has done, he said the IGP is very incompetent. Can you imagine? Look, if these things go out there, very soon, if we are not careful, some of our leaders, they will not even be giving audience abroad. How can you say you are a civil community, you are a democracy-believing government, when you can put people in armed van for talking on air? So please, I think I agree with the journalist who said that any form of speech should be taken through civil procedure. Nobody should be treated as a criminal for what they write or how they speak. So please, if you take people through civil, let them have their day in court. If the judge says that, look, the way you spoke, you threaten others, pay 20,000, then they will know that there is a price to pay for speaking anyhow. But nobody should go to, can you imagine, a man is sleeping in his Sawam, police custody, locked with criminals. When you ask what he has done, he didn't slap anybody, he didn't jump in a kung fu style like some people did to our Kumsi. All he did was that he spoke and said the IGP is incompetent. Let's even assume without admitting that the IGP is very competent and someone said he's incompetent. Is the solution to arrest the person? Sue the person in court. In fact, even the NDC people are saying that the judge who said some are more equal than others has how do you call it, misbehaved. Is that not the case? We are all equal before the law. Dr. Koboy, former minister, is not more important than a journalist or multimedia. Before God, we are equal. Before the law, we must be equal. I heard someone saying that we are only few. Sometimes the voice of one, if it is the truth and justified, can be louder than 1,000 people. We don't need 20,000 people here to let the world know that what they are doing is intimidation and harassment. Please, we wish this government well. We want this government to succeed so that all of us will be better off. But when you go after citizens, treat us in a very discriminatory manner, how can our soul and spirit pray for you? How can we be praying for you in our rooms when you are going after people who are non-NPP? Azoka said openly that if he had met the minority leader, Afonyo Makis, there will be a by-election in his constituency. What happens before they do a by-election? Is death. Is that not it? This is a senior man in NDC. Have you heard any comment from President John Dramani Mahama? Have you heard any comment from the IGP? When pressure came on the police, they will issue a statement that we have arrested him and given bail. Where was the arrest? When was the arrest?
Are you doubting that the police arrested him?
You yourself, do you believe it?
Yeah, I mean, they released a statement. It's a official statement from the police.
When it is an NPP man, it's not only a statement. They share pictures with you of our people in handcuffs. Is that not so?
So you were expecting a picture of Azoka in handcuffs?
Let all men be treated fairly. The standard operating procedures of the police must apply to all. If they arrest them in handcuffs and arrest us, we might not be here. But if you treat one in a manner and the other in a different manner, it is not just right. Let's speak out today. Tomorrow it can be you. If they arrest multimedia in this way, I'll come and join you to protest. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So that's the former Minister of Health, Dr. Okoboy, and he's part of a number of people who have come here to protest. We understand that more and more people are coming around. We'll try and interact with some of the party members who have also come here to join the protest. And as I mentioned, indicated earlier, that it's heavy security presence here at the Obra Sports itself, inside there. That's where the police have been preparing their grounds, getting their men ready. There's been a few, interaction and briefing with the policemen. And the indication we are getting is that it's going to be a very heavy security presence here today. And that is fundamentally what we have heard. But as I mentioned, more and more people are here to join in the protest. Chairman, your name and where are you coming from?
I'm Prince Adat, the National Youth Wing Administrator of the NPP.
So, I mean, clearly at this point, you have quite a number of young people who have turned up for the demonstration. What are you looking to achieve with this protest today?
The protest, as you rightly indicated, it is to tell the government that enough is enough. We have witnessed the harassment of party people, particularly targeted at NPP, and people that are not in the ruling government. You can talk of the like of Chema Abronye, the TikTokers, Obama Opokwase, even music icons like Shatta Wale have been arrested. and detained beyond the 48-hour stipulated by the Constitution.
So part of this protest extends to the arrest of people like Shatawale.
Exactly. We are talking about the injustice. It's not limited to NPP. Kofi Akpalu, the leader of the Freedom Party, was also arrested. Shatawale was in Yoku for almost 3 days. So it is not something that is limited to NPP. We are talking about the injustice and the government trying to silence dissenting voices.
How many people are expecting to come here? Because already you're looking about 100 people that have turned out here.
As you can see the numbers here already, we are looking at 500. But by the time we move here, we are anticipating about 5,000 people to join this demonstration, because this is a call for the youth to rise up and defend our rights. It is a constitutional provision that every citizen must protect the Constitution of Ghana, and that is what we are here to do today.
All right, thank you very much, Prince. So that's Prince. He's one of the individuals who have come here to take part in the protest. We want to try and engage more and more people. Champion, once I was red, then we can protest. No.
Well, you want to stay with us because we shall be taking you there every time we have to show you something is happening at the Obra Sports. The march is to at least draw government's attention to what they say government-sponsored harassment and abuse of power. I've just been bringing you that. Now back in studio, I'll take your comments, but we have just been joined as well by Swami MP John Darko. And especially because of his knowledge in environment, we shall be taking more from him on these research that Pure Earth and as well the Environmental Protection Authority have conducted and the findings. And I'm hammering on the fact that the contumbre you're eating might just be contaminated. The fish, the water, would get to understand what is the real challenge against the repeal of the airline. I hear that everything is a process, but what's the minorities' position on that energy with which the NDC government promised they were going to fight illegal mining today? How are they going to be rating them? Honorable, thank you for joining us. So the march is, I can see that people are gathering. This reason why the youth wing of the NPP is proceeding on a march, would you say is substantial?
Well, I mean, look, freedom of expression is very important in any democratic, state, and Ghana has been known as a beacon of democracy, and one of the bedrocks of this is the freedom of speech. And so, if your president says that we are monitoring your IP addresses, if you put anything on social media, we are coming after you. It tells you that we are moving away from our position as a democratic state to more or less a democratic or some fascist state. And so the youth of this country, who generally these days use the phones, decide that, look, we need to challenge this position because obviously that flaws in the face of the Constitution. And you can see that when the president said that he meant exactly soon thereafter, or even immediately before that, people have been picked up because they had dared to criticize the Emperor John, So they go after them and keep them in police custody. And sometimes you wonder for what purpose. If you teach them a lesson, they will tell you. They want to show them where power lies. We cannot do that to ourselves as a country, especially looking at where we've come from. Look, sometimes when you sit back and look at the history of this country, especially from 1992, and even from, go back a little bit, Jerry Rawlings' era, it looks like we are even going down, in terms of our respect for human rights and democracy. Rawlings, his first 11 years was under military rule, and then the latter 8 years. When you compare what happened to even Rawlings' 1992 to 2000, and what is happening in 2025, you ask yourself, Rawlings was more or less a saint, because 2025, we are removing a CJ. Rawlings had the opportunity to do that. The constitutional historians will tell you that Article 146 was placed there purposely for Rawlings to be able to remove justices who he did not agree with. But he restrained himself to the extent that he respected all the Supreme Court decisions that went against him. A lot of them went against his government at the time. He respected the
the constitutional provisions. Then here you are in 2025, we are violating the constitution in this manner, removal of Chief Justice and this disrespect to our constitution.
If you put something on social media, while the constitution allows that your rights, you have full protection of your rights by the constitution, if what you put on social media is inflammatory, how can we still protect your rights?
I mean, you see, I understand that there are limits to these things. Social media is not there to just destroy, it is there to build also. And so I am the first to say that people should be very responsible when they're on social media. But you see, when the government makes it a point that when you say things against the government will come after you, then we move beyond just the mere fact that we are protecting the rights of people. Because see, when it's political, you ask yourself, at what point can we say that what the person is saying is inflammatory and then it is a critique of the government? Now, that is a very fine line. When somebody, yesterday I posed this question to somebody, that if I said President John Dramani Mahama is incompetent, right? Is that an insult or is it a critique? So depending on where you are looking at, you can say, but that's an insult. How can we say a whole president is incompetent? But in my view, I am saying that he's incompetent because he's given a set of, or he's given a job and he's not executing it to perfection. And so when we are running a country like ours, where free speech has become accepted, you need to be very careful at what point you arrest people for expressing their opinion. I understand inflammatory words cannot be tolerated, but at what point do we say that this is a criticism of the government and this is inflammatory? And that is where the difficulty is. So
I mean, because you drew the inference from the military regime to now as well, just before you joined, Honorable Jawab had just drawn my attention to the fact that NPP, right, it's nearly in your DNA. You know, you specialize in protest, you specialize in demonstration. In our history, if we took a trip back, it would be surprising to see that whether it is the youth wing or whatever wing of the NPP, if we woke up today we saw that the NPP was staging.
They even want to die. Could be attributed to them.
So while this looks like a pure constitutional process, we shouldn't be surprised that it's just another day. It's another day doing business for the NPP.
Well, I mean, my brother, my colleague will tell you, in the last 8 years, okay, like from 2016 to 2024, they had numerous, uncountable demonstrations. And I think it's okay. It's okay to say the NPP likes demonstration. We prefer to express our views this way than to take cutlasses and stones to fight. You understand? So there's nothing wrong with it. We have to express our opinion. We have to get the Ghanaian people to understand the ills that are going on in the society. In fact, what is the purpose of this? It's to draw the attention of the public. Now you are showing the interview of Okoboy, you are showing the interview of the NPP youth wing, and they are telling Ghanaians, of course, Ghanaians are aware, but they need to reiterate for them to know exactly what is going on. They need to let them know the government they voted for. So ain't nothing wrong with that. We take it that we have a better way of expressing our views than to take up arms, So there is nothing wrong with it. But I think the point must be made clear that this government hasn't started so well in terms of the protection of individual rights, especially the perceived political opponents. Look, I think that this country, we've come a long way. Now it's become we are kind of glorifying the arrest of political opponents, but this is in Ghana.
Does it look like it doesn't not just look like we're glorifying it, especially because if a government has just handed over power to a new government, it nearly looks like most accountability will be rested on you, on the government that has just gone by. No, so it will definitely look like they're glorifying it. But if you look at it carefully, it's you that accountability must be asked from, right?
I agree. And I think this point, we've made this point so many times over, that we in the NPP, we are not against accountability. we've made this point so many times that we are not against accountability. Just go through the right constitutional processes. You know, you cannot just get up and arrest people in the name of accountability when you know that there's a better way of going through that. Look at how they treated. Look at this Abronia issue, the latest one. We can go back to Wuntumi and the rest, but look at this Abronia issue. The whole idea that we want to teach you a lesson, to the extent that judges are coerced into this their grand, agenda to put fear in the people. For a judge to be able to say that, well, we can, what did he say? You is your quotation, you was quotation.
Animal farm, some.
I know the animal farm. That your freedom of
speech. We don't have any quotation.
Oh, if from you and your people, that the freedom of speech, yes, we can grant it, but freedom of the speech. And I was quoting left and right, either Idi Amin or Mugabe. Look, how can any government be happy about this? And it was because the government said, keep him there. Government through the police, keep the guy there, make sure the guy is kept there. And then look at how, after the backlash.
Is that what government did? Is that what you do? Is that what government did?
Of course, but we haven't done that. You would have given us at least an example. But look at what happened. After the backlash, what happens? You are being trained to be a lawyer. I don't know, MFA, we haven't spoken about, I don't know whether you are done. But the Monday or so, this guy is released. What was the basis for the release? When somebody has been sent to the, was it in police custody or in
yes, he shuttled between the investigation bureau and the police.
Yes.
There was a bit of...
So let's say the court did not grant him bail. What happened the next time they went to court? Was there a review of the bail application? We know the law does not allow. Right now, we've amended the rules such that if you want to review an application, you go to court of appeal.
Yeah.
There was no court of appeal application. How was the guy removed the
prior to that, they said the Attorney General had taken interest in the matter.
Okay, so
on
what basis did the Attorney General go to court? Did he go to court to review the court's order?
That we do not know yet.
So how did the guy come out?
He was finally granted bail.
That is the manipulation of the judiciary we're talking about.
Mm.
Because if you look at it, really and truly, the judge has given his order. Go in for 2 weeks, or was it 1 week? Go in. The only way you can do this is to go for review.
Right.
And don't go review before the same judge.
Right.
So how did the guy come out? So the government has decided to manipulate. And that is what we've been crying about, we've been fighting for. And a lot of, maybe not a lot of Ghanaians, but some Ghanaians didn't agree with us when they started this removal of the Chief Justice. We said they were going to manipulate the judiciary. We said that they were going to ensure that the judiciary is really under the armpit of the president. And he will deal with it as he wants. And that's what is happening.
No,
but the president asked through the Attorney General. How did the Attorney General end up in that court to get the release of the guy? How did the Attorney General end up in that court? The Attorney General asked for and on behalf of the president. You understand? So we need to be serious as a country. So many things are bothering us as a nation. Binjiri, you know what is happening. Our people are dying. And you are here chasing TikTokers. Were you brought into this country to send our people out of the country? Now Ghanaians are refugees in Ivory Coast. Is that what Ghanaians voted for the NDC for?
I think that the challenges in Boko, Binyiri and all of that existed. It's quite an existential one.
The topic?
No, well, it's worth discussing. It's actually worth discussing.
But if we are putting TikTokers in jail, and Ghanaians are being sent to Ivory Coast as refugees.
Are these not two different matters? Are these not two different matters?
You know why it's not?
Who is to be arrested?
No, we know why it's not. The government should use its resources very well. The resources we use to chase these TikTokers, use the same energy and resources to go and fight. Look at the military and the police they use to arrest these gentlemen. Use the same military. Go to Boko, go to Biri, go and stop the trouble going on there. And you are here in Accra.
Well,
fighting TikTokers. Is that what Ghanaians voted for the end?
Mr. Jababa, while this is not something we're supposed to be discussing, it's just well noted that, well...
No.
So let's get into another thing.
He wanted to do that.
You know why, right? Why?
I know why he wanted some attention.
And you gave him?
That government, you know, NPP these days, whatever they do, they want attention. I understand. Even this, their so-called demonstration and whatnot, they want to test their popularity. You know, they know.
But they are the biggest opposition party. Why would they want to test their popularity?
Ghanaians have totally rejected them. And to test whether they are still relevant, I understand it. Even right from the recent by-election, they want to test their popularity. Do these people really?
But there was a general consensus that reason.
So that's why you may link the TikTok, which has no relevance.
Oh no, but the NPP has said that this particular the NPP has said that this particular protest.
NPP time was there no Boku. Boku war was more devastating in the time of NPP. What did they do? And today, he thinks that because of Boku, because of Benduri.
But is that not why the Ghanaian people voted them out and said you wanted to reset?
No, what I do know, and he knows himself very well.
I don't know what you're going to talk about, so how can you say?
So let's turn our attention to another thing that both of you know. Let's turn our attention to something that both of you know. So
natural. That's what they are natural disasters.
Mr. Jabab.
It can happen sometimes not known to you.
Mr. Jabab.
As and when they happen, you take steps.
Mr. Jabab.
To avoid it.
Mr. Jabab, there's a committee that's been set up by the Interior Ministry to at least look into the Gwinyiri, and it'll be 30 days. We'll bring you the finding, definitely, so don't worry. Just tell Honorable that. That's the Interior Minister.
He has said it. He has said it.
Well, so let's turn our attention to something that both of you would have your full attention on. So you must have seen that report by Pure Earth in collaboration with the Environmental Protection Authority, arsenic contamination, widespread of it. The basic understanding of that is that the drinking water standard it's exceeded vastly the drinking water standard.
Drinking water is all you want because it was not there. So
absolutely.
And it's a very I need to have a bite.
And it's a topical matter as well.
We already discussed it. That's why.
And what was your position? The NDC's position? Is that
oh no, I ended my position.
There is no. He didn't.
You two come with your.
He didn't end his position. I took a trip to the Obra Sports to see how the protesters.
I have. It maybe I have a copy of the report.
I have it. Now that you have come,
you have it.
You give your position on it and let's see.
When you run your mouth in opposition and you think that you can do politics with the lives of Ghanaians, that is what happens. The NDC in opposition makes so much noise. And you see, one of your politicians I love is your president. Okay, our president, President Mahama. Very fine gentleman. And when he speaks, you think that he's going to deliver. So Ghanaians were hoodwinked, listening to the president, the fact that he was going to fight Ghana, say, LI 264, is it 2462?
Yeah,
246. We will make sure we remove it. Come to Parliament. Every law which has either been revoked or passed were made under certificate of urgency. Every law.
I drew that attention.
But the NDC, now they are telling us that this particular one, they cannot touch it. This is what you sold to Ghanaians a year ago. You were on the platform, you were on the platform, even in your hometown, and you were telling Ghanaians that when we come back to power, we'll make sure that we stop Galamsey. The Nana Akufo-Addo has set this airline out to sell our forests to people to go and destroy our forests. That's what we are saying. And then when we come, first 100 days, you are going to revoke this law.
Can you point and then when we say first 100 days, we said we were going to repeal the law. The airline.
So it's not as important as the other laws. You came under certificate of urgency to that repeal.
It's very important.
So why is it not repealed?
There is a process to repeal it.
Are you kidding me? You are telling me there's a process to repeal this law.
I'm not kidding you.
And so it will take you 9 months.
You two telling me 100 days.
No, it will take you 9 months.
It's not
okay, so how many days?
It's not.
How many days did you promise Ghanaians? How many days did you promise?
We said we were going to repeal it and we'll repeal it.
You see your hypocrisy as a part.
We didn't say 100 days.
You see your hypocrisy as a
NPP
party.
rather is hypocritic.
Wait. You've had your bite.
Let me rephrase this. Let me rephrase the question.
You've had opportunity. We had opportunity to repeal this law even within the first 1 week. Every law you've brought to Parliament, look, the betting tax wasn't not repealed under certificate of urgency.
Yes.
So why can't you repeal this under certificate? And you are telling me there's a process to repeal. You, an MP, you are telling me that you cannot do this within 1 day, and that there's a process, so it should take 9 months.
What is generally wrong with that law?
Well, they said it should be removed. I mean, I look at the law. The law grants you the right, in fact, the president the right to allow mining within a forest area. That's the main thing. So, in fact, the president can say, I am not even going to grant it, and it won't happen.
Right.
So I am saying that I mean, as a professional, as a lawyer, I understand. Even this law, when it can stay in the book for whatever years, if the president doesn't sign any lease, you cannot go into the forest.
I know, but this law has been subjected to monumental abuse.
Yeah.
No, but that's fine. So if you believe that, and that's what they said. They said that the NPP government was abusing the law, even though the president Nana Akufo-Addo never signed any lease for anybody to go into the forest to mine.
So if there was any mining going on there, it was illegal. Already.
It was illegal. So it's not so much about this law per se. What we need to do is to confront the elephant in the room, the illegal mining that is going on, not the repeal of the law.
So would the president be right if he says that, well, it's not really the repeal of that law. Repealing it does not solve the problem. So let's not pay attention to that.
You know why it is important? When you are a presidential candidate, we speak and people listen to you, and based on your promises, they vote for you. You need to respect the people. When you do this, it shows that you don't respect the Ghanaian people who listened to you and voted for you. So, first of all, revoke the law. And most importantly, put all your arsenals in fighting these menace, killing Ghanaians. Look, last year, some of the things we were doing, you go to river bodies and go and fetch water and come and shoot to Guinea. Now, when you go to those river bodies, you won't get the water. It's only sand. This is what you people have done to Ghanaians. And listen, I am one person who believes that Galamsey fight should never be politicized. Because, look, if we know the effects, I think for the whole of Joy, Erastus is the only person who goes to. So one day, my dear, go there.
Well, just 2 days ago, Jackie was at Kwanyaku.
Yeah.
And if you look at the water treatment in that area,
go there.
It is devastating. And we can just put that on the screen for you if you have not seen it. But my question really is that what is more of an emergency, Honorable? What is more of what will look like an emergency in the fight against Galamsey for you? You were saying that this current government can be commended currently in the last 9 months. Really? Before we went on that break, I can only recall the launch of the Blue Water Guards.
Yeah.
Well, what has happened to it?
That one.
They just make noise. This is NDC. You don't know their working. It's all about the optics. They make noise.
You've
Blue Water Guard.
You've not heard. You've not seen.
Go to a
Blue Water Guards working.
Listen, go to a contemporary today. I was there over the weekend. Go. Sunday, behind the MP's house, Galamsey is going on. DC's house, Galamsey is going on. Do you think this is a joke?
What is really the difficulty in the fight against Galamsey? And I ask this question to both of you. Because the matter really doesn't look different if I take a trip back to 8 years ago.
Okay, so let me tell you.
It might look worse now, but what really is the biggest challenge?
Let me tell you this. Well, now it's gotten worse. But this is the deal. And I'll admit this as a member of the NPP. We, as Ghanaians, the two political parties, we haven't been fair to the people of Ghana. We haven't treated...
A very honest admission.
We haven't treated the Galamsey the way it should be treated. And this is because of politics. Now, let me tell you. When Nana Akufo-Addo came, and when they talk about commitment to fighting Galamsey, I'm shocked because when Nana Akufo-Addo came, all right, he put a stop to Galamsey. In fact, there was a moratorium. You couldn't go into the mining area for months. For about 8 months or so. It was the same Ghanaian who said that, well, I think that we've done enough. Let's go back and see whether we can mine responsibly. If you remember, for about 8 months, there was no way you could go anywhere to go and mine. This is what Nana Akufo-Addo did. And the water bodies became clearer. Nana Akufo-Addo said that I am willing to put my presidency on the line. And then I will ensure that this menace stops. He kept going on. And then, of course, the people who benefit from Galamsey will fight back. And you know how they fought back? They went to the NDC. And the NDC promised them that when you support us and we come, Mahama said it. Tony Obin was there. Tony Obin is a former Mincom CEO. He was with Kwaku Buahi. When they said that when you vote for NDC before the 2020 election, we will give you the opportunity to work. And they will make sure that all those who have been arrested by the NPP government are released. Kwaku Buahi, Tony Obin.
When they said that to work, did they mean that to mine illegally?
Oh, my dear, they meant every word. And listen, you see, the people bought it. And so in 2020, all the mining communities, NPP lost, including some, in fact, we nearly lost this in the Ashanti region, the mining community, because the NDC had promised them that they will allow them to mine. They will give them freedom. They will support them. And so, if NDC is going to support us to destroy the water bodies and make money out of it, why not? That's what the NDC promised. We will support to destroy water bodies. We will make money. They say, why not?
Mr. Jobabi, you're here.
Yes.
These
But that's what they said.
This is your problem.
Let me finish.
I'm surprised that you are just allowing on
because you're here.
I'm surprised that you are just allowing on my government.
So in 2020,
because
make the notes because we get to respond.
You know, in Parliament, the two of us speak at the same time. Let me finish. There's a lot of time.
But you have allowed him so
No, you've had a good time. You have, Mr. Money, you agree that you have had a good time before he
So in 2020,
No, you've had a good time before
more than 30 minutes.
Brother, we are not on the floor. So in 2020, the NDC won a lot of votes. Won a lot of votes in the mining areas. So we come back after 2020, 2021. Typically, politicians, the main thing you want is power. Because you see, when you say you want to do ABCD without power, you cannot do it. So obviously, the advisors of Nana Akufo-Addo will say that, look, you want to win power to do or to fix this Galamsey issue. So go down. Take it easy, because if you're not careful, you lose power. When you lose the power, how would you fight Galamsey? So then Nana Akufo-Addo also relaxed. And this is what happened. Because of the political effect, NDC benefited from the so-called Galamsey menace. And Nana Akufo-Addo relaxed. And then this is what happens. The environment gets decimated. Because you also want votes. You don't want to lose all your votes. This is the politics, the real politics I'm talking to you about. This is what is happening. Now, NDC is back in power. They rode on the back of Galamsey. Now, if NPP is to do the same thing, you know what we're going to tell the people? Make sure that you vote against NDC when you come to power. Make sure that you stay and work. And so, in all of this, do you know who benefits? Those who engage in the illegality. And the majority of Ghanaians who drink, eat from these communities are the people who suffer. So Galamsey only helps the people who are engaging in that illegality.
Which I think is this you have said is a consensus. We say that just a very few people benefit from Galamsey.
And so you know what we have to do? For me, I have made this point before. I don't remember whether it was here in your station. Let us sit down, the two political parties. Because if you do, right now, as the NDC is fighting, well, they can't fight it. As the NDC is going through the struggle, right? In a politician's point of view, let us also go to the mining communities and instigate them against the government. If the government is fighting them, let's instigate them against the government. That way, we can also come to power. That is what
that's the politician's mind. However, unfortunately, the very small contombre, tomatoes, cereal, everything that we eat, it will not be only the NDC member that's eating it in the community.
So this is what I suggest. Let President Mahama call the leadership of NPP. I've said this point before. I don't know how you will criticize me for, but let's say, look, this Galamsey menace is killing all of us. Why can't we sit down and make a deal? Look, go to the US. Donald Trump, that's what he does. He wants to make a deal. Let's make a deal. Let's make a deal. So, for instance, I made this example earlier on. Okay, so NPP UK, when you were leaving, you employed 10,000, 20,000 people you shouldn't have employed. Instead of sacking them, let's sit down. We will let the people stay and work. Because we've realized that it's something that bothers you. The fact that we are dismissing all these people. After dismissal, you know they've been doing it, right? But we are going to stop all these dismissals. In exchange for your cooperation, I'm just saying that, Amefa, or maybe, for instance, let me make this wild one. For instance, maybe President Mahama can call leadership of NPP. We see that one of your people who is probably in trouble is, I'm using this as an example, Ken Oforiatta. You know what? I'm going to make you a deal. I'm not going to prosecute Ken Oforiatta in exchange for your support against Galamsey. Or find another thing. This is something we don't agree. Why can't we make a deal? I'm willing to give so that you can support me in my fight against Galamsey.
Can two political parties trust each other? to cut a deal?
Because where this Galamsey thing has gotten to, we better, because in the next 20 years, Ghana, as you know, might not exist. And I say Ghana, as you know, because Ghana, as you know, we eat contumely, we eat all our food from our forest, we drink clean water. Ghana, as you know, in 20 years will not be exist. Now, Kwanyaku, look at my brothers in Central Region. They can't get water.
Yeah.
All the water bodies have been destroyed. So this is what I propose. That let's sit down, let's make a deal. This thing is dangerous.
Mr. Jabab.
If you are not careful, it's going to destroy this country.
You have the floor now. You have the floor now. And before Mr. Danko came in...
You are not giving us the floor.
You've had the floor before. And I mean, to be fair, before he came in, you were Mr. Money, you would agree that it was just you. In fact, it was just you and I on it. It was just you and I on a banter.
We were only spectators.
Now you have the floor. Now you have the floor. He's made some offers.
So that I can also come back.
You see,
I'm the moderator.
I already spoke on this issue, but I am back to say all what he said. There is one from beginning. I told him he was lying.
Which one?
Number one. During our campaign, President Mahama, then candidate Mahama, never promised anywhere that in 100 days he was going to repeal LI 2462. That one, he's a lawmaker, he's an MP, he knows that he's lying to the good people of Ghana.
In that social contract, the 120-day social contract, I think point 19 has an indirect form of contract with us to solve the illegal mining.
But not to repeal the LI 2462.
Okay.
That's what I want you to be precise there.
Okay, we'll put that on the side.
President Mahama didn't promise him that. You and I.
But I had a question for you on that.
He promised to make sure that the issue of illegal mining will be dealt with.
Absolutely.
And I said that the issue of illegal mining has been tackled boldly by President John Mahama.
Walk me through it.
You understand it?
Walk me through.
Now, we agree that the issue of illegal mining, we all agree to read that, is a menace to all of us. Every Ghanaian here is at risk.
You see, MFA, you made a very good intervention. Let's read point 19 of the 120-day. Ban illegal and new mining activities in forest reserves. Ban illegal and new mining activities in forest reserve. 120-day policy. Now, if this is not the removal of 2462, then what is it?
I don't know where he's reading his from. I
cited the 19.19 of the 120 social contract. Okay, Mr. Danja Jacob.
So you see, I'm not lying. I want you to understand that I am not lying. This is a very fair inference, because that's the only way you can stop the illegal mining. He said it, point 19, it's there. So say that, okay, John, you didn't lie.
The viewers will make their judgment.
Because you say that an honorable member of parliament is lying. It's a big deal. I want you to understand, I didn't lie.
What I did say is that
he didn't promise to repeal it in 100 days.
In 100 days.
These are two different.
That is repealing a lie.
I agree. I think I agree. I agree with you.
I totally agree.
So I agree.
I promise that. But I agree.
NDC. Ghanaians
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Mr. Daku, no, I wouldn't allow it.
Galamsey is danger to all of us as Ghanaians. And even that, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who promised he was going to put his presidency on the line, to what extent did he put that presidency on the line? His appointees, people that is Minister of Science.
This is a tired. I'm very tired.
Please make no. Please
cited them. People like Charles Bisiu and the rest. What happened to those appointees? What happened to them? They were freed.
See, the reason why
people can't get
the reason why before Mr. Daku came in, Mr. Daku,
I am not distorting.
The reason why
fact here.
The reason
why I'm saying that Galamsey is a danger to all of us.
Both you don't just say it too.
I, MFA, Mr. Mo, everybody.
The president who said that we should make sure we declare state of emergency. He said it. That one, did he say or he didn't say it? He said now. He said state of emergency is no longer necessary.
Yes.
Is he serious about fighting Galamsey? When he was on the political problem, this is a person who has been president before. President Mama knew exactly what he was saying.
Okay.
He had been president.
Okay.
Mr.
Dako, let me let him land. Mr. Dako.
He said,
Mr. Dako, let me let him land.
I said, Ghanaians have seen the NDC people for who they are.
Mr. Jabba, please make your point.
And to go ahead to say that on our campaign grounds, we promised people in the Galamsey areas that we will allow them to do Galamsey was the reason why people voted for NDC government is also not found.
There's no science and data.
There's no science in any of those claims, because if you look at even areas where NDC won massively, some of those areas are not Galamsey areas.
Okay.
Could it be the reason why those people voted for NDC? No. So those facts are not tenable. But I want to say that his party NPP became unpopular. It became unattractive, not only because of Galamsey, because of so many policies that they disappointed Ghanaians.
But today we are looking
so
at
many
the
areas they disappointed Ghanaians. That's why they voted against, not because of the Galamsey. So if his people lost in Galamsey areas, not because NDC went there to do propaganda.
Okay.
It's not true.
Okay. These are the things you wanted to draw attention to.
Yeah, these are the things I want to draw attention to, because I already made
I have
suggested a solution.
This solution that you should cut a deal. Mr. Money, and I'll let you come in. This kind of deal, how does it sound and look to you? Because they believe that the fight against illegal mining must be a collective responsibility. Deals like this, would you love to cut it?
No,
you, the NDC. Would the government at least nurse the idea of cutting such deals to fight illegal mining?
Cut a deal like what?
For example,
because
NPP.
I heard him, propounding some deals that he felt could have been necessary, like say probably will not prosecute Oforiata.
Or he also said, or you can leave that one and take another thing.
I heard him say that. Yes. Am I right? Yes. So even if NDC will go into those with NPP in the area of fight against Galamsey, it shouldn't be on certain deals.
Of course, you choose the deal that works for you or not. They will impose the deal.
Unfortunately, the one you choose
doesn't sit well with you. So throw it out. But my question to you is that would you consider such deals, not that particular deal? Would you love to go into deals? Would you love to cut a deal to solve the illegal mining?
But that doesn't. Boldly and that doesn't lie or mean to sit here.
I agree.
Yes,
you also mentioned that currently the government is doing very well in the fight against illegal mining.
Yes.
He actually said that.
Oh yeah.
Before I came here.
I said that.
You know yourself.
And I said that.
So I wonder why you are cite the blue. All those facts.
I can cite the Blue Water Guard Initiative. Yes. I can also cite the launch of the Responsible Mining Cooperative Mining Scale.
Yes.
These two are the most ones that I can cite, but I only know that they've been formed. They're very formative stages. Are you able to cite some results? And the reason why I'm passionate about this, and this is not because I'm allowing Mr. Dako or anything, is because I can see the data here, right in front of me. And I've said that you have mentioned that the fight against illegal mining is a process. And I say that drinking water and eating is not a process, it's an immediate need. These two, I'm unable to reconcile it.
Tax wasn't a process, it was an instant action. You can't remove the two.
As much as I agree with you that they are agents, I said that they are a process. You asked me about the blue water gas, whether...
I'm asking about the initiatives which you say we should commend this government for.
Yes.
And I have told you the one that I have personally read to audience in the news, and I'm asking, has it yielded some potent results? Can I pinpoint that? Well, because of the launch of the blue water guards in the last how many months, this is how much you can measure results. Because I can only measure the turbidity of water as we speak currently.
Let me help him. The results are clear. Look at the Kwanyaku water works.
I'll allow him. I'll allow him.
Before you finally get to measure the results, Kwanyaku, it takes its source from somewhere.
Okay.
You understand it? So the blue water gas, now guarding water source and protecting people from entering there. Eventually, where that water takes its source from to Kwanyaku, when the problem there is solved, Kwanyaku will get clean water.
So are the blue water gas over there, are they at the source?
They are the source.
So the result is what you are saying.
They are the source. So,
because they are the source and they are protected. The result is what you are saying.
It cannot be an immediate result. It will take. It cannot be immediate.
You see, it takes from a source somewhere.
But the thing is getting worse. It should be getting better. That's the point we're making. If we are working at
what we are now seeing was started in his time.
Okay, Mr. Money, okay, let me allow Mr. Money coming.
Galamsey is a capsule for the perpetration of wickedness. Wickedness in its most naked nastiness by people who, without any prick of conscience or a twinge of guilt, want to feed fat, reap where they have not sown. And the consequences, as we've all seen, acidic contamination of food containing cassava. And the yam, tomatoes, gari. And the Ghana cannot do without this ingredient. But yet we have people who, because of greed, insatiable greed, want to inflict this calamitous effect of galamsey on us.
Mr. Money, we brought for say.
Well, so, Mr. Money, please proceed.
My friend, my very good friend, said, fighting galamsey is a process. We do agree. But all that we expect to see is injection of action.
Mr. Money, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this government's fight against illegal mining?
Below 5.
Below 5. That would be 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, in the region of 3 and 4.
3 and 4.
Yeah.
Okay. You recall that I was asking Mr. Jabab that if he wasn't part of this government, and if he wasn't a politician at behavior, how will he rate or score this government's performance and the fight against galamsey? Mr. Jabab, 1 to 10, how would you score this government?
Let me take my pen and write how he's going to rate the government on this.
If you didn't belong,
I thought you were referring to Mr.
No,
Money,
if you
so
didn't,
I took my attention from it.
Well, my question before, and it will be like, I think I've asked you already that if you didn't belong to this government and you were on the other side where Mr. Darko was, and you are just going to mark this government as a Ghanaian who probably would have a relative as well around Kwanyaku,
yes,
who also drinks water from that area, how would you rate the fight against galamsey?
Oh, I would have scored the government very high.
One.
And because of him, I don't want to give any mark for him to go and steal the marks. John Darko is just waiting for my mark, but I would have scored the government very high.
Does it look like whatever win this fight against galamsey?
The fight against galamsey is winnable, but we are not there yet. The signs are still ominous. There's a need to put this ominous signs in the dustbin and make a fresh start. First of all, pluck up the political will, deal surgically with the perpetrators of galamsey. One step, which is highly commendable, is the stationing of soldiers in the forest reserves. And we are told that about 8 of the forest reserves have been reclaimed. This is a plus.
Okay.
But this plus is still so minuscule to make a significant impact in the fight against galamsey. So we commend the government for this process, but the process must be quickened. The process must be injected with fire.
Okay.
So that which will burn the perpetrators and safeguard this country for the present and future generations.
Mr. Jabab, if you look at what the Constitution says about what the president will look at before he'll declare a state of emergency, it's not changed. It's the same pointers the president will look at to declare a state of emergency. At the time that you were promising you will declare a state of emergency, what were the factors that moved you to make that promise? Just posing it to today, why the president thinks that, well, he doesn't think we're there yet. Have they changed? Have the factors changed?
The factors that were prompting us to probably make those promises, as you ask, are not different from the factors that you are seeing today, many Ghanaians are seeing today. Actually, we've all admitted that galamsey is a danger to our very existence as Ghanaians. So, from the time that this galamsey issue went on high, issues, everyone realized that no, galamsey is something that we all need to lend our support to fight against it. So, every political party, including NPP.
Have the indices changed? That was your question. Have the indices changed?
The indices have not changed. But what I mean is that
it is straightforward.
To just get up today and say I've declared state of emergency could sometimes be dangerous. That's why it takes steps. You need to be careful how you declare it.
So you only were telling Nana Akufo-Addo to declare state of emergency. What were the basis? What
did he
was
declare it?
No, but
did he declare it? That's the question.
He did not.
So the process,
Ghanaians voted for him to come and declare state of emergency.
The due diligence he was doing, it's the same due diligence we are doing. He did due diligence for more than 8 years. He couldn't declare it. And we, in 8 months, you want due diligence process to have been completed. Are you fair to NDC and Ghanaians? You are not fair to Ghanaians.
My brother, so you are saying that the NDC is doing due diligence before they declare state of emergency. So that's what we've been doing the last 8 months. Due diligence.
I asked you,
is that the point?
Did Nanado declare it? You said no. He was doing due diligence.
In fact, even Nanado, I'm telling you, the first year declared the state of emergency. Nobody was going to mind.
Honorable did explain that political miscalculation set in.
Okay, at the time that they were doing the campaign.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I mean NPP. No, they started well, and then we all saw the signs. But the approach was reduced to something comedic as a result of political calculations, winning power. And he did explain that this mantra, seek ye first political power, and all other things shall be added on to it, came into play as a result. They lowered
but I think, Mr. Boni, I think let's make that point clear, that in Akufo-Addo's 8 years, at least he declared state of emergency for about 8 months. There was no mining.
I said he started well.
So let's make that point.
And the backtrack.
Yeah,
there was this general backsliding in the fight against
So for you.
But all those was Adankwa Dada.
Oh, okay.
Because he claimed that he declared state of emergency. There were no mining. And people like Untumi were seriously mining forest reserves.
So for you,
they were mining.
So for you, you are saying that you are doing due diligence from January to September. You are doing due diligence before you declare state of emergency. What kind of due diligence are you doing? Because we are out here. We've seen what is happening in the country. We know that Galamsey is getting worse.
The Deputy Director for EPA says that declaring a state of emergency could amount to a bloodbath. What did he mean? What do you think he means? You know why? Because when you read what it requires for the President to declare a state of emergency, help me, you are a lawyer. Yes. What could amount to a bloodbath? What does a state of emergency look like? What does it look like?
So I think that you put a question, the first question to the right person. His president is speaking, they should be able to explain to us, their government. They say that declaring state of emergency can lead to bloodbath. I don't know how it will lead to bloodbath. This Galamsey fight, if you are serious about it, okay, if we declare state of emergency, you send military, that nobody should go there. When you go there and we decide that this is emergency situation for us, and look, it's like somebody has declared war on you. If it's shoot to kill, let's save our forest, let's save our environment. You said that when we come to power, that's the first thing we're going to do. Now we've given the power and you are saying that it will lead to bloodbath. Didn't you know that? Didn't you know that it will lead to bloodbath when you said that
they say shoot to kill policy be implemented?
Listen, when it comes to this Galamsey, anything to protect our environment, I think we should do it. Anything. Because listen.
That's a radical
Listen, if we don't do that, I'm saying that this country, as we know it, will not exist in 20 years. And we will be doing our children and children's children disservice. In fact, I'm sure our children will ask the kind of people we were, that in 2025 we allow this kind of thing to happen. They will go back to history. 2025. Look at what other countries were doing. Look, in America, you drive your car into a tree. Okay, your car is for the tree, but you pay for the tree. This is a civilized nation, and you sit here. Are you really a civilized nation if you can allow your people to drink this contaminated water, your people to eat this contaminated food? Yeah, you are a civilized nation. So whatever it will take for us to fight this Galamsey, we should do it. And declaring the state of emergency is the beginning of the fight. So let's declare war.
Mr. Jabab, what I'm saying is that he said in his government, 8 months, state of emergency was declared. Is that not what he just said?
Yeah, but it's a fact. I said.
Who did they shoot to kill?
Oh, okay. So it tells you that. So that answers your question. That answers the question. They can declare state of emergency and there will be no bloodbath.
This is what NDC is telling you, that They are taking due diligence. So that when it comes to declaration of state of emergency, it will not be as comic, it will not be as fake of that NPP declaration of state of emergency.
Okay, do you know why? Because it looks to me as though there's a different meaning. The reason why I ask this question is, it looks to me as though there's a different meaning to declaring a state of emergency. And especially when the deputy EPA director said that it could amount to a bloodbath. I said, okay. Well, does that mean that when they say, don't go here, when they see a living soul over there, they will be shooting? I want to understand what another state of emergency could mean. And this is because if you look at Article 39, Clause 9 of it says that the circumstances justifying a state of emergency will include a natural disaster or any situation in which any action is taken or is immediately threatened to be taken by any person or body. Now, what even makes it more important says that it's calculated or likely to deprive the community of the essential of life.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying.
And I want to understand what can amount to essential of life other than this.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. What they are doing, they have declared war. The illegal miners have declared war on our nation, and we need to fight back.
Mr. Jabba, what don't we know? What does the government know that we don't know? Especially when they say that we need to do due diligence, we can't declare state of emergency.
All the causative factors are known.
Yeah, what don't we know again?
The solution is known.
Maybe they know something we don't know.
So, Mr. Money, let him answer. He's part of the government. Let him answer. What is it that we don't know? You are saying you've been doing due diligence for the past 9 months. What is it you found out? What does it tell us?
When somebody says doing due diligence, it definitely comes out with results. So the results will come.
When?
That you expect, better results will come. We don't want to rush.
But currently, arsenic, if you sampled food, what other results are we doing?
So as long as you don't get me, what I said is that the government has taken bold steps in fighting galamsey. And now you are so concerned. Your position is about declaring state of emergency.
Including about fighting galamsey.
Including my good friend.
No, that's not my position. That's not my I'm not asking.
My question is, there are a lot of initiatives have been put into place which we just cited.
My question is because you cited it as one of the ways you were going to use to fight galamsey. And I like to think that the civil societies that are calling for it, they surely have looked into the consequences of if you declare a state of emergency, residents as well. I like to think they've looked at it and they realize that declaring it, no matter how difficult or easy it will be, will help fight the galamsey. The president says we're not there yet. And I've just revisited the pointers that will make him declare. And I'm asking, what can make us get there? What do you think? This is just a genuine question.
No, what can make us get there? It's a matter of time. That's when you are satisfied.
Matter of time. By which time we would have all died.
I don't think we have the luxury of time.
Do you have the luxury of time?
Let me tell you where you don't have.
Let me read to you. The research says that the study warns that residents, especially in mining communities, face chronic exposure through multiple routes, inhalation, ingesting, and skin contact, with potential long-term effect on nervous system, kidneys, and child development.
No, but you know what is even happening? The government, their government, they came to Parliament under certificate of urgency to pass the Gold Board Act. And so the government that says I'm fighting against galamsey is even financing the small-scale miners. And they will tell you, it's small-scale mining, it is not galamsey. They know that all the small-scale miners in this country are engaged in illegal mining.
Not all of it, Mr. Dapo.
I am telling you.
Not all
That's
of
debatable.
It.
How is that debatable? Go and see what they are doing. Go and see what they are doing to the forest.
As if
go and see what they are doing. So they are benefiting. The Gold Board. That's what they are doing. They are buying. In fact, they are equipment finance. They are giving them money to buy equipment. Yeah, didn't we see about 500 or 700 excavators being imported into the country? Where are
no, small scale mining.
Who says the gold to the Gold Board?
No.
Who says the gold to the Gold Board?
From antiquity, small scale mining.
Who says to the Gold Board?
And parcel of this.
No. Who says to the Gold Board?
What we need is to stop.
Is it only NDC sell gold to Gold Board? Sorry? Is it NDCs who sell gold to Gold Board? Is it only NDC?
They are the ones sponsoring the illegal
miners. Sell gold to Gold Board, not NDC.
The Gold Board was set up to buy gold from the illegal miners. That's what's a million fee.
No, that's not. When I read my reading of the law, that's not
they are doing. That's not they are buying gold from illegal miners. They are benefiting from it, and that is the reason why the president is afraid to declare state of emergency, because they want the dollar, they want gold.
This is your explanation of it.
That's
your explanation of it.
This is what is happening.
Okay,
the Gold Board.
I'll allow Mr. Jabab alone to take the rest of the minutes. That's it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Danko.
Ghanaians voted for you, and now we've seen your true colors.
All right, so this is how we wrap up the news review segment.
The gold board, they are buying gold from illegal miners. You are destroying our water bodies to be ashamed of.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us on News Review now. You want to stay, there's more on the show. I like to think the fight against illegal mining continues. Big stories. Peasants farmers want that Ghana's annual food import bill of over $3.5 billion actually to go higher if government fails to take stronger action against illegal mining, following concerns about the new study by Pure Earth and the Environmental Protection Authority, which revealed widespread contamination from mercury, arsenic, lead, and other heavy metals across artisanal and small-scale gold mining areas. We'd hear from Pure Earth maybe when we can, but most importantly by peasant farmers as well. Joining us now is Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association, Bismarck Norte, and CEO of the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana, Anthony Morrison. Kojo, let's start our conversation.
All right. Now, I heard you say that we may probably get to speak to the Pure Earth guys.
At some point.
They were here. They got a call and decided not to speak again. We don't know where the call came from, but that's what is happening. That for our viewers, we may not be getting Pure Earth because they've rescinded to speak. But let's start with the Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association, Bismarck Norte. Bismarck, now you've been interacting with farmers. Let's understand how widespread or how difficult this is making farming in Ghana in terms of the contamination of our water bodies due to galamsey activities.
Yeah, hello, Kojo, my good friend who have abandoned me. I'm doing well. Hope you are well too. And good morning to the rest of the team and then the viewers. Yeah, I think that the galamsey situation is not getting any better. And it's making a lot of farmers feel very frustrated and disturbed about the situation. In fact, we've started to do some work with our farmers where we are trying to collect data from farmers in selected areas where there are galamsey hotspots to understand the extent of damage of farmlands, the extent of disruption of livelihoods by the farmers, and what have you. And this is just in Ashanti region where we got some information from just about 3 or 4 districts. And in those 3 or 4 districts, we are talking about not less than 3,488 acres of land, farmlands that has been destroyed by galamsey. And these are farmlands that are into the production of cocoa, plantain, vegetables, cocoyam, and a whole lot. And this translates to over 5,491 farmers whose livelihoods has been directly impacted, that they have to stop their farming activities and move on to other activities because currently you don't even have the land to even do your farming on it. The saddest thing is that the farmers are, for fear of victimization, they are even afraid to speak out because they know who are the kingpins of the galamsey. But for fear of being attacked, they just have to keep quiet and suffer the consequence. So that's the danger that we are facing. Now, if you even move from just the farmlands, we are also talking about farms that also rely on irrigation facilities, dams that flow through streams that farmers use. If you go to a place like the Western region, in the Shama district, for instance, we have a group of rice farmers there who produce rice and they do all year farming because of the irrigation. If you go there now, the water has been heavily polluted, so there is no way they can use that facility again. So now, because of Galamsey, they've now converted from doing all year farming to just one season farming. Now, the effect on farmlands has been established, effect on the water has been established. And unfortunately, we are also now having another dimension that is about the effect on even the quality of the food that is being produced by the farmers. And this is because sometimes with the land they have to work on may be land that has been used already, or they are being forced to use water that has been contaminated to water their crops. And this spells a lot of danger for us. So for us as farmers, I don't think that the situation is getting any better. I think that with government Feed Ghana program, which has huge objectives of reducing our food import bill, increasing productivity, producing food for industry, that particular program risks failure if government does not take a decisive action against Galamsey. Because how can you increase your production when your farmlands and water bodies that the farmers are going to use are being destroyed? And if you look at the data very well, the areas where there are Galamsey hotspots, if you go through the Ministry of Food and Agriculture's facts and figures, if you look at the highest regions that are producing these food crops, the maize, the plantain, and the rest, most of them are in these Galamsey hotspots.
Wow.
So essentially, what we are doing is that our basket of foods that are coming from these regions, we are just cutting them off. And that's the danger. And so that's why I feel that we need to see some deliberate action and decisive action. And the focus shouldn't be only on our forests, which is great that we are doing that, but the focus shouldn't only be on our forests. If you want to be food secure, you want to attain the goals of the Feed Ghana program, then I think that the government must take a second look at their current stand against Galamsey. Because the destruction that it has done, if you are not careful, as I said in your sister station, our aim of reducing our food import bill will not achieve that aim.
That's quite revealing. I want to get this again. You're saying that the spot where, according to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, we are getting a lot of our food from are also the areas that are most impacted by Galamsey.
If you look at, every year, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, they produce what they call the facts and figures. So they look at the various crops that are being produced, and there's a rank for all the regions, the highest 5 producing regions. So if you look at a community like Plantain, you realize the highest 5 producing regions include Ashanti region, Eastern region, Western region, and that. You look at a product like maize, you see upper West coming in, you see upper East coming in, but you also see areas like Ashanti Western coming in. So if you look at cocoyam, plantain, the same thing. So if you look at the trend, you realize that these hotspots, the regions that are hotspots for Galamsey, Western North, Ashanti, Eastern, if you look at the data, those regions are part of the top 5 food producing regions in the country when it comes to several foods. So essentially, what we are seeing is that the bread basket of some particular foods in Ghana, we are trying to cut the production down if we do not take action against Galamsey, and that is what is going on.
Well, what you're saying is somehow corroborated by the POF and Environmental Protection Agency's research that they've done. Now, according to them, they've examined soil, water, air, crops, and fish in mining communities across 6 regions: Ashanti, Western North, Eastern, Central, and Savannah. And they find that, mercury, arsenic, and other toxic metals are very high, and they say are in alarming levels. So it means that the crops that we are getting from these areas are contaminated. Now, and you're also bringing in a dimension where over 5,000 farmers have been impacted by Galamsey activities in the Ashanti region alone. From your perspective then, what must be done that we're not doing?
The peasant farmers is also part of the broader Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey network. And we also believe in the fact that we think that at this time, there seems to be an uncontrolled mining across the country. So we have already joined calls that the state of emergency should be in place. Now, what the state of emergency does is that once it is in place, we know that there is a moratorium on galamsey. There's a moratorium on illegal mining. So we can now have a bird's eye view to understand what is currently going on, the state of destruction, and what ought to be done. So, for instance, if you go to a particular region like Ashanti, when that ban is in place, we can now take a stock and know the hectares of land that have been destroyed, the water bodies that have been destroyed, the farmlands that have been destroyed. What is the plan to reclaim the farmlands? What is the plan to ensure that those who want to do mining are mining in a more responsible way? So if we have that, then we have a clear idea that in Ashanti region, we have X acres or hectares of land that are designated for farming. And not only cash crop farming, that's cocoa, but both cash crop and food crop. So if you know that these are the areas that have been demarcated for farming, then once the ban is reversed, we do a clear legislation that there should be no way any of the fields should be given to any miner to mine, because we know those are agricultural fields. When we get to our water bodies, we are very clear that nobody should be able to mine with some buffer from the water bodies, and that anyone who does that has to bear the consequences of the law. So once the state of emergency is in place, it gives us that chance to do that. Because currently, when you go to some places and they are taking over the farmlands, all what you hear is that they have the permit to do so. Who do you even go to verify that indeed these people have the right permit to do that? So we need to take a pause as a country. We need to take a stock of the damage that has been done so far on our water bodies, on our farmlands, and other areas that have been impacted. And then we need to have the plan of how are we reclaiming and restoring the lands and water bodies. When that is in place, then government can now go ahead to engage those who want to do the mining in a very responsible manner, so that it doesn't affect our water bodies, doesn't affect our farmlands. Again, I think that, and we've made a point countless times, that it would be out of place to think that the chief executive officers in the respective districts do not know or do not have an idea of what is going on in their jurisdiction. And I think that as part of the KPIs that is given to them, the urge to stop galamsey should be high on the agenda. We should be able to let the DCEs and MCEs in galamsey hotspots be responsible for what is going on in the district. So that if, for instance, there is a particular locality within your district where it is clear that illegal miners have taken over farmlands, then there should be an action to be taken. And we have to find a way to ensure that we integrate the farmers back to work on their farmlands. And we have to find a way. I think the scientists have they've recommended ways of restoring the farmlands to galamsey levels. So I think that for us, the solutions are there. If we want to prioritize our agriculture, I think that the government should really, really look at their stance. I don't.
Have we lost Bismarck Norte there? Okay.
We have the time to bring in.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Anthony Morrison, who is the CEO for the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Morrison, for staying with us all through. First of all, let's turn our attention to what we're already discussing before we bring in the grain glut, which in some jurisdiction would have been a happy news, but unfortunately not a happy news here, because the grain glut is not because we have harvested excessively, but because we are unable to sell it off. But currently, the situation as Pure Earth has been painting it for us, and more importantly, peasant farmers as well, saying that it's real cause of challenge. For you at the chamber, what does these findings mean to you before we get to the other matter of the grain glut? Do I have...
Yeah, okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So very good morning, and good morning to you, my good friend, and yourself. The chamber would like to add its voice to the Galamsey menace. We think that it is an existential threat, not only to our survival as a country, because we all eat food produced from the ground. It is also an existential threat to the economic activities of the rural economy and also the livelihood. We want to add that over the past 10 years, we at the chamber, we deal with commercial farmers. And we confirm over 700,000 hectares of land have been destroyed, which are agricultural land that have been destroyed. And we have been looking at the quantity of cyanide and mercury that have been imported into the country, and currently which forms part of our water bodies that we used for agriculture activities. And not only limited to agriculture, but also on the aquaculture level. If you have look at the data available, especially from the current data that came last week, it's clear and very evident that we are gradually going to halt our health sector, our agriculture sector, and also our food sector in the entirety. And we propose that there must be a framework, a clear framework, and with timeline as to when, who, and what has to be done to put a stop to this Galamsey. The chamber is also part of the National Anti-Galamsey Coalition that is pushing for a complete halt and a state of emergency to be declared in order to make sure that we are able to take stock, clear the system, and adequately restore Ghana's agriculture forest and the forest zones to its original status. It will take some time because the destruction has been over the past 15 years or more. And one worry for the chamber is also of the fact that our biggest trade partner, which is Europe, in terms of agriculture, European Union has come up with a law of food of forest origin, which also have a likelihood to impact on our agriculture exports to the European Union. I'm also aware of the Asian China also coming up with similar models. So we need to be very careful as a country. It is a sector that employs over 4 to 7 million people. That is almost 30% of the population. So we need to be very careful how we prioritize the gains of today as against the survival of the country.
Right. So that I'll put on the left side of the conversation. Now, on the right side of the conversation is that you say that 100,000 metric tons of rice, maize from 2024 harvest remains unsold. This 100,000 metrics you say are for both rice and maize, or these are individual numbers of both grains?
Well, thank you. The numbers are quite more than that. As we speak, we can confirm about 4 rice processing factories that have shut down. They have not only shut down, but they are currently in debt because they have procured rice last year, and they couldn't even mill. The ones that they have milled, they can't even sell. That's the situation now. As we speak, we are also very much aware of some smuggling taking place in terms of some foreign rice that are coming in. So competitively on the market, they are able to sell at a lower price compared to our local rice, which is the Ghana rice. So those are the data we're looking for. And the danger here is that with regards to the government's own project of Akuko and Kutikiti, and we're looking at the large-scale commercial poultry farming. Poultry feed requires 50 to 60% of maize. Now, with the price drop, which is good for consumers, because the consumers cannot afford to buy food at a very cheap rate. But what does that give us in terms of going forward in terms of production. We need to guarantee the price of farmers. We are aware some engagement has started from the buffer stock company to explore some feasibility of providing a guaranteed price across board. But what we need now is an agency action that requires complete mop-up of all the existing maize and rice in the system, such that when we begin to do the poultry project, we may not come at a situation where it will come at a cost, and eventually the poultry that we are also trying to produce, the price will be so expensive on the market. So there are quite a number of interventions that need to be done. But going forward as a country, we need to clearly separate the food security strategy of production from the industrial need, because that is how we will be able to come out with, for instance, in the industrial level, at the beverage industry, the likes of Guinness, the likes of Nestle, they buy maize, they buy soya, they buy rice. And the poultry sector and aquaculture sector, what quantity of maize do they require? So there are industrial needs for maize and rice. What is the food security need? We need to separate it in a sense that we will be able to work towards our food security. At the same time, we are working towards the industrial demand, because this is you can't industrialize this sector if you do not know your raw material availability. And that's why the Chamber over the years have been calling for a proper mapping of our raw material base and set up the Agricultural Raw Material Council to be able to achieve this.
Okay, let's still just stay there a little bit longer, and let's get a bit of clarity. So because of the smuggling of foreign rice, it makes it a lot cheaper than the locally manufactured rice, correct? Or it's just the
we don't manufacture rice, we produce rice.
I'd say.
Rice.
Okay, so you would say that it makes it a lot more cheaper or affordable than the locally produced rice.
Exactly. If you look at the landing cost of rice on the market compared to our final price on the market, obviously, while Ghanaian processors here are processing rice and paying all the taxes and other requirements, most of these imported rice that we know about, which we can go to the market and point to that, look, these rices have not gone through the right import process. And we know, or we are also aware, our member organization, which is the Rice Processor Association, have tracked a number of trucks that have come from the entry points, which are the border areas, into the country. And we believe that anyone importing rice mainly will use Temahabo or maybe Aplau. But if you look at some of the entry points of some of these rice, some in the northern regions, some coming from the BA area, all through the border areas, these are major concerns. How rice importation could be coming from those areas. And this is where we need to strengthen our entry points when it comes to the agriculture trade in terms of imports.
So are the two, maize and rice, are they the same in terms of the glut we're experiencing? And is it a cost of production that is really not making the Ghanaian produce competitive, or it's, as you say, the importation?
Right, it's a bit of both. We can work on our production strategy as a country to reduce the cost of production for both rice and maize. However, in as much as we also agree that there are challenges with the high cost of production in terms of maize and rice, that is also not getting the right support in terms of what is happening in the industry. And we need to find a strategy where we can curb the smuggling of rice into the country, while we also promote at the same time the reduction of the cost of production. For instance, in other developed countries, input moves from the manufacturer straight to the farm where the inputs are used. But in our case, we import from, sometimes not from the manufacturer, but global distributors into the country. We warehouse, we redistribute to the agents, distributors, and retailers before you even calculate the cost of input reaching the last mile, which the farmer. So by the time you go through that, and also the activities of post-harvest, which also put some cost on the food. For instance, you need to aggregate food from one area to another, hiring a truck, offloading, rebagging before you bring it to the final market. All these activities increase the final cost of our food, locally produced food on the market. And that is why some of us strongly believe that a deliberate attempt to commercialize agriculture in Ghana, and that we can begin to operate on large-scale agriculture plantations, would actually go a long way to reduce the cost of food production and subsequently the cost of food on the market.
But we've spoken about government checking importation because the issue about local production and our competitiveness on the market has always been because we are not able to fairly compete with the foreign imported rice and maize as well. But do you, from where you stand, see the willingness on the part of government to even do something about it to make us competitive, as we are calling for?
Well, competitiveness comes on a number of rates. So, for instance, if you look at the Agriculture Census 2018, it says over 70% of Ghana's farmers are illiterate and at the same time uses rudimentary technologies. And the other major issue on that data is that we have over 8 farmers in our agriculture or food production sector. We need a holistic plan that aligns with the competitiveness strategy. For instance, we have heard of the 24-hour economy and what they want to do in order to industrialize agriculture. But the case in here is that, unlike the smallholder farmer and commercial farmer, if a commercial farmer is plowing his land or tilling his land, he will be tilling and planting or seeding the seeds at the same time and applying fertilizer, doing 3 actions in one. That comes at only one cost of the operator and fuel. But for the smallholder farmer, he will have to plow the land, come back and get a planter, come back and get a fertilizer application done. Now, this adds a lot of cost. Aside all the other issues I've enumerated earlier with regards to the value chains of the input moving from one hand to another, and also subsequent movement of the final produce to the market. If we are able to do that, I can tell you, last year the chamber did some work on the cost of food price build-up in Ghana, and transport alone occupies 27% to 30% of the cost build-up in the final food price on the market. So there are quite a number of things that can be done, and most importantly, we need to mechanize our agriculture sector. With tractorization is different from mechanization. We need to focus in a way that addresses the key challenges and reduces the drudgery and increase the efficiency, involve more youth, give them price guarantees, provide them support systems and interventions for them to be able to fully embrace agriculture as the future of food and the future of Ghana's food system that will be guaranteed.
But I mean, in terms of reducing or checking importation of both rice and maize, from the data we have, what percentage can local production take? Such that if government is to take a decision, it can say that I'm going to reduce importation of rice to say maybe 50% and maize to maybe say 40%.
Okay, let me provide some context here. When it comes to rice, we do about 1.92 million metric tons in terms of our consumption. Now, if you break that data down in terms of the consumption, Ghana does about almost 1 million metric tons of consumption. But some of these rice that we consume also are exported. So the export data is almost about 27 to 30%. We do a lot of export to Benin, we do Niger, we do Mali, we do Burkina Faso. Now, some that goes to Benin eventually also goes to Nigeria. We also use some rice at the industrial level for the beverage and other sectors. They do roughly about 200,000 metric tons. Now, when you go further to the production, our production rate is about almost 900,000 to 950,000 metric tons a year, which leaves about 1 million metric tons in importation. Now, within that 1 million metric tons, there are percentages that goes to industry and percentages that are re-exported out of the country. So we need to look at it from that context. Ghana has what it takes to produce what we can consume when it comes to rice. I don't have any doubts about that. We just need to be deliberate, give the kind of tax exemptions that are required, especially when you are bringing in input, you are bringing in machinery. You need government to be clear, because sometimes the demurrage, the taxes, the frustration in clearing some of these things also adds up to the cost. Let's come to maize. In maize, we do 3.2 million metric tons in terms of consumption. Now, I would say that, I dare say that as a country, we are almost maize sufficient when it comes to our production capacity, because we produce around 2.8 million metric tons a year, leaving about close to 400 to 500,000 metric tons in terms of the gap. Now, most of the import that comes from maize actually goes to the poultry sector, the aquaculture sector, and also some beverage sector. I'm of the strongest view that we are in the position to increase our maize production capacity, which can suffice to be able to support the poultry industry and also the aquaculture and the beverage industry. I'm of that strongest view. My challenge is how we can adopt innovative strategies in terms of the tools available to us, using innovative machinery to increase our rice production. For instance, we need to use planters to seed our rice. We need to adopt tissue culture system that will enhance our population per acre. For it, how many we are doing about less than 250,000 seeds per acre. In other jurisdictions, they are doing about 500 to 1 million seeds because they are using seeded, planted, and all that, and they are adopting the tissue culture. It is expensive here to build a tissue culture lab for rice. That will cost you about $140,000 to $200,000. So there are a lot of things that we should be able to adopt on a large scale that will be able to address our rice production capacity and also work towards reducing the cost of the final product, which is rice on the market, and which can eventually make us competitive. Because actually we have the comparative advantage, but we need that deliberate support from government to be able to achieve that.
All right. Grateful to you for joining us here. Anthony Morrison, the CEO of the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana.
You want to take some final words from, of course, the director of the Peasant Farmers Association. One of the questions that you asked, which is quite important, Bismarck, is that how much of a percentage can the Peasant Farmers Association assure us as Ghanaians that you can at least be providing for us, given all that you need?
That's interesting. I think that if you look at the data very well, over 80% of food that is consumed in Ghana here is produced by the smallholder farmers. So it's the farmers who contribute a chunk of the food that is produced. For most of the commercial farmers who do the large scale, most of them are for either industry or for exports. But it is what is being done by the smallholder farmers that actually keeps us going. Now, let me just make some points about the issue of the glut. I think that we need to see some urgent action by government. As Anthony mentioned, I know the buffer stock are currently putting in place a minimum guaranteed price for both maize and then rice. and even to an extent, Gary. I'm sure very soon the minister will come out with the modalities around that. But I think that should be done as urgently as possible, because as I'm speaking to you now, we are having a lot of calls from our members where they currently have to sell a kilogram of maize for as less as 2 cedis, in some instances 3 cedis. And this is a situation where if you compare that to the cost of production, which is averaging about 3,000, 4,000 Ghana cedis, the farmers will not be able to break even. So if that happens, the ripple effect is that it might not create an incentive for farmers to produce the following year. And that also has a likelihood of affecting our food security. So I know plans are in place, but I just hope that it will be done as urgently as possible, create that system for the farmers. And you see, the saddest part of the whole thing is that as at now, Ghana do not even have a stock of food that we see we can rely on in times of emergency, unless we go and borrow. Like what happened to us last year when we had to go to ECOWAS to borrow maize and rice. We do not have a stock. So I think that government should take advantage of this glut and purchase as much as possible, keep strategic stock so that we know what we have, and then find a way of ensuring that our programs that we have, the school feeding, the free FHS, we have a way of having a similar situation where farmers can easily sell to them. We don't need out of the blue policies or solutions. No, we need a whole structured framework where farmers know that when I produce my maize or my rice or my tomatoes or onion, there's a system where I can have the local authorities in the district come to mop out the system. I think that will create that incentive for us to continue to do the production. But if not, we are getting depressed because we have to deal with galamsey, deal with high production costs. Now we're going to deal with markets. I think the incentives will become too much for the average smallholder farmer today.
Okay. Bismarck, we're grateful to you for your time here on our show. So that's the Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association, Bismarck Norte. Earlier, you heard us speak to the CEO of the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana, Anthony Morrison. But if you look at the Pure Earth study, and they look at the heavy metals concentration in food samples, they took samples from the Ashanti region, Savannah region. Ashanti region, pawpaw had about 1 milligram per kilogram of the sample that they took. And if you look at their remarks, they say that in a place like Konongo Zongo, in the Ashanti region, the soil there in terms of the minerals that they found is severe contamination. Absolutely. So it means that farmers there should be worrying now because their soils are being contaminated. If you look at Konongo, Dumase in the Ashanti region, Pristia, which is in the western region, Dakrupe in the Savannah region, elevated levels indicating potential health risk. So, in fact, if you look at the data, it tells you what is confronting us as a nation.
A real situation.
Exactly. And therefore, because the food you are eating, because you are not able to tell where it is coming from.
Of course you cannot.
You don't know.
When you go to the market, you don't ask.
Exactly.
Is this from Konongo? Is this, you're unable to ask?
I had to tell my children yesterday that they don't need to brush their teeth with pipe water again. They have to do a sachet. Even that you don't know whether they are safe or not, you know. Yeah. So, in fact, we need to think about it and know that what we are being confronted with is not one person's fight, but all of us need to come around the table and find solutions. Let's see where this can lead us to. This is still the AM show. We'll take a break here. We will be back with more. Plus, taking you to the Obra spot to have a peek on what's happening with that demonstration, which is calling on government to take an action against galamsey. Stay on.
Have you seen him?
The police released a statement that he was arrested.
Abronya was arrested. He was handcuffed. Have you seen this guy?
The police released a statement that Mr. Azoke was arrested.
No, that's why I'm saying the police, we don't trust the police on these matters. How is it that Abronya was arrested, he was handcuffed, not only him, Sir Obama, the rest of the guys, Fanti Comedy, they were arrested and then they were handcuffed. But then, anytime the police will issue a statement regarding the arrest of any NDC member, you don't see the person's picture, you don't see that they have been handcuffed. Why? Do we have different laws for NPP? Do you have different laws for NDC? So that is what we are protesting against. The weaponization of state institutions against the opposition party. This is deliberate. This is a clear orchestration against. We will not be intimidated. Yɛn Suro Ahunahuna. And that is what this march is about.
Well, I mean, you are sending a petition to the IGP and the Jubilee House in the event.
The presidency, yes.
Yeah, I mean, what exactly? What exactly do you want them to do?
No, yes. First of all, the president who says that he is an embodiment of democracy should be able to display same. Should be able to tell all of these state institutions. And now, what is happening? You arrest somebody, they put in place onerous bail condition, very repressive bail condition, just using bail as a punishment. That is most unfortunate. So we are telling the president that the harassment must stop. We are not going to sit down for our right to be trampled upon. And that is what we are saying.
What happens if not? So that is the national organizer of the NPP. That's the national organizer of the NPP, Nanabi, and making the case for the NPP as they hit the street to protest. So as they indicated, they are going to be presenting petition to the IGP, and another one will be sent to the Jubilee House. They are alleging that the state is using its institutions to harass some of its party officials, among other things, and that they say is concerning. They also claim they want the state institutions to be very fair in their engagements with the public. They say that some of their party members, NPP party members, are being treated unfairly. They saw the arrest of some of them. And of course, Fancy Comedy is there. Fancy, on say Wikita Bibi, sack IGP, you're holding now.
This is still the AM show. We're nearly wrapping here, but quickly before that, and still we shall take you to the Broad Sports right after wrapping here. But make your dream home a reality with EcoBank. Step into your ideal home or transform your current space into one that truly reflects your style and comfort. With all the support from EcoBank, EcoBank has once again partnered with Joy News to bring you an exciting experience at the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. This year's edition makes your journey to a comfortable home or modern home even more accessible and affordable. With EcoBank's Buy Now, Pay Later, you can easily renovate, upgrade or furnish your home to suit your taste and lifestyle. Whether it's elegant home decor, modern furniture, essential electronics like laptops and phones, or solar energy solutions, EcoBank has the right financing tailored to your lifestyle, from staying connected with the latest devices to embracing sustainable living. Our flexible consumer loans, asset finance, and salary advance products are designed to help you bring your vision to life. So enjoy competitive interest rates, convenient repayment terms, and fast approval from a bank that understands your needs. Here's what you have to do. Visit the stand and take the first step towards the home and lifestyle you deserve. Comfortable home starts with EcoBank. Be part of it. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. Kojo, you've got some message for them?
Well, let's talk about the ABC game because it is paying big and your name could be next. Just dial star 262 hash, pick any 3 letters, take from 5 cedis and win up to 1 million Ghana cedis. Whoa. Now with daily draws at 10 a.m., 5 p.m. and also on Adom TV at 9 p.m. you can play multiple times a day. And for the bold players, Friday jackpot is the real deal. Now 1 letter, you can stake it 3 times, 2 letters, 8 times, 3 letters, any order for 200 times stake. Now exact order is 2,000 times stake, about 20,000 cedis and more. Play more than 10 Ghana cedis per round to increase your winnings. This is licensed by the NLA under the Caritas platform.
Well, we'll definitely take you back to the Obra Sports, where the NPP has just been gathering to start their Yɛn Suro Ahunahuna demonstration today.
Near water bodies and in our forest, and also to repeal the airline. Today he's singing a different song. So what is the politicization? He also said that the real approaches are NPP executives who are invading the forest. Today NPP is not in government. Give me one NPP executive who is in the forest today. So it is clear. So it is clear that the government has failed in its operation and the handling of these Galamsey-related matters.
So wait, is it your argument that the government's failure to declare a state of emergency is proof from your end that they are showing negligence in the fight against Galamsey?
I believe that the president must be compelled to honor his promises to the Ghanaian people.
He said it will be the last resort.
Well,
it will be the last
resort. The first resort is not working. The second resort is not working.
He said it's only 9 months yet. You should give him time to see the result.
How many more people should die? How many more people should be born with deformities before the president will know that enough is enough? How many more months?
They say you had 8 years to do it. So he's gotten 9 months, so give him some time.
So how many more people should die? That's a question that you also have to answer.
All right, Mr. Samuel Weku, we've been interacting with, joining in the protest, and you could tell it's a very, very huge crowd here, really huge crowd here, as more and more people get to be, as more and more people, join in. It's a huge crowd by the NPP youth group as they set out to protest what they say is government's use of state institutions to harass their officials. Of course, we know the catalyst for this protest was the arrest of Abronya DC, the Bono regional chairman of the party. That was a catalyst. But they make references to Chairman Wumtumi and how he was handled by Yoko, the bail conditions that were leveled on him. They make references to some of their party members, the TikTokers on social media who have been giving commentaries, in support of government, in support of the NPP. And they say that the manner in which the police have treated them, they talk about, say, Obama, Pokwasi, and a few others. They say the manner in which the police have treated them is very unfortunate. And so they are marching to the police headquarters, which is probably just about 20 minutes away from here. They will be presenting a petition to them, and also another one to the Jubilee House. So from their police headquarters, they will march to the Jubilee House and present their petition to the presidency. Of course, we know the president is not in the country at the moment, and it's expected that maybe a rep from the presidency will receive the petition on behalf of him. But beyond the number of people who have turned out today, the police presence has been massive, and that's what you're seeing on your screens at this point. It's a huge police presence, and we showed you the visuals earlier. The police personnel who are right in front with their gears here have also got body cameras on themselves. They've also got body cameras on themselves, just like we saw during the Akwatia by-elections. They've also got body cameras and will be capturing a lot of the incidents that will be unfolding in this protest. So if anybody breaks the law in any regard, the police say they will deal with the person. They will deal with the person. Tom, if you can talk briefly. Okay, great. Chairman, you are clearly not happy. You don't look like a happy man. What is happening to your party officials that you are not happy about it? You've joined the protest today. Why are you joining the protest? Okay. I see you are holding Wukita placard saying declare state of emergency on Galamsey and save Ghana now. What does it mean?
It means we should declare state emergency to save the Galamsey. They have spoiled our land. You know, I'm a farmer. I farm cocoa land at Achim. I have plenty cocoa farms.
And Galamsey is really happening.
Yes, Galamsey is really happening. They have destroyed all our cocoa farms, our water bodies, our everything. They have destroyed it. And Mahama promised us he would declare state emergency to stop Galamsey. So we need him to stop the Galamsey immediately. Immediately effect, please.
So part of the reason why you are joining the protest is because of Galamsey.
Because of Galamsey. They have spoiled our land. I have already informed you I'm a farmer. I'm a cocoa farmer, you see, and I have a farm. Yes. Yeah, please.
But I mean, if you look at the number of people that are turned out today, I was speaking to Samuel Oku, and he says this is an indication that the NPP is still alive. Are you surprised by the turnout?
It's not just about the NPP being alive with the numbers. The numbers is overwhelming. You can tell. It's in thousands, probably 6, 7, 8, or 10,000. But that is not even an issue. The real issue is that people have marched up to speak against the government's attempt to use state powers to intimidate people. If you campaign on a promise that you're going to give 24-hour economy or jobs, if you campaign that you're going to stop, Galamsey, if you campaign that you were going to give Nkoko Nkiti, and all of these promises you made are failing, you cannot hide behind an attempt to use state powers to intimidate people who criticize this.
Well, you're suggesting that the arrest of Abronya DC and the others is just a cover-up by government for the promises they made, which they are yet to fulfill after 9 months in power.
That is exactly the case.
But it's only 9 months in power. They've got 4 years.
When they were in opposition, they made allusion to the fact that it is possible to use 2 weeks to stop what? All Galamsey in this country. They made a promise that the president has all the powers, and therefore if he wants to do it, he will do it. If he wants to give jobs to people, he will. If he wants to, almost everything is possible with power. And so the Ghanaian people believed in them, and they gave them an overwhelming endorsement. Now, 9 months in power, everyone in this country is coming to terms that indeed these people lied their way to power.
Well, thank you very much. So from here, so at the moment we are going to the police headquarters.
We're going to the police headquarters. We provide or we submit a petition to the IGP. Subsequently, we will go to the Jubilee House to also give a petition, a copy of it, to members of government.
But what happens? What do you want to see to know that your petitions have indeed been accepted and are being worked on? What do you want to see? What kind of changes do you want to start seeing?
Well, first of all, we want government to allow the rule of law to work. That is our ultimate objective. If you arrest anyone for whatever reason, ensure that the rule of law works. The rule of law, if it's going to work, is going to be at the behest of the court to pronounce or to keep someone in custody and not an individual at a state office or state institution. That's what we want to see. And also, they should try as much as possible. Government should use whatever powers they have to halt the Galamsey that's currently ongoing.
Very much. So this is still the NPP protest, and it's still underway at this point. And you could tell that the numbers are huge. The National Youth Organizer has joined it now. The former National Youth Organizer, Member of Parliament, Samuel Wuku, is also in there. The National Organizer of the party is also in there. And a number of party youths have also joined. This is the NPP youth group's protest against the government.